the benefits of Inspired Disorder Plus. So you go inspireddisorder.com/plus. Sign up, $5 a month. You get to binge the full week of The Ray Taylor Show ad-free. You get to watch all of the live painting videos I do. You get a special members-only discount and deals for all of the artwork and merch that I sell. You also get the complete podcast back catalog of every podcast I've ever produced, hundreds of episodes, countless different podcasts. You also get access to my personal blog. A new blog comes out every week. In addition to that, you get my creative writing that I'm releasing. You also get access to Asking Me Anything. 14 years of experience podcasting. I've been creating art my entire life. I've been using Photoshop since middle school, and you can contact me to ask me questions about that or anything else. So those are the benefits for signing up for Inspired Disorder Plus.
This is a HeadGum podcast.
This is All Fantasy Everything, the podcast where we fantasy draft anything and everything from the world of pop culture. On today's episode, we're drafting power moves. Our guest today is a senior NBA writer at Yahoo Sports. He's the co-host of the new NBA podcast, No Cap Room. Returning to the pod today, it's Dan Devine. I'm your host, Ian Carmel, and joining me, as always, are my friends and comedians, Sean Jordan and David Borey. Cue that music. Welcome to another brand new episode of All Fantasy Everything, the podcast where we draft different kinds of flan.
Desserts, dude.
Desserts, dude. We go berserk on desserts.
Never had flan.
You never had flan?
Like, that's one of the least surprising things I've ever heard, Mike.
Yeah. Is it
It's
pudding?
because it's a textury thing, and I feel like you might be scared off by it.
It's like custard, technically.
It tastes like shrimp and olives and mushrooms.
No, it tastes divine.
Those things also good, though.
I like it. Those things are also fine. Yeah.
Yeah, like the shrimp is great.
Yeah, but flan tastes like, I want to say it's got kind of like well, David hit the nail on the head. It's a custardy.
Yeah, it's got like, they usually put like that caramel-y syrup on top.
Yeah, kind of like light caramel all over the top is really wonderful.
It's great.
Sounds great.
Light caramel. That's when I'm doing when I moved into McGregor's division. Take it on.
Huge lion and tiger fighting across your chest. Yep.
I got him on that.
That's when you hit a mid-range jumper.
That's right, light caramel. That's
caramel,
light
dude.
caramel.
Yeah,
dude.
that's light. Don't make me take it to behind the arc.
I will though.
NBA range, whatever you want.
Yeah, whatever you want. NBA range, rock and jock range. I'll fucking light you up from rock and jock range, dude. Football or
I'll
basketball.
hit you with the 50-pointer right now.
I'll be out there on the court in a Barcalounger with wheels on it, bro. I don't care.
It's you and Nelly, the only ones who ever hit it.
I'm wearing more Band-Aids.
I beheaded Dan Cortez, so I have his power. So here we go. A lot of people don't know that Rock and Jock operates on Highlander rules, but
It's
it
Highlander
does.
rules for
Yeah,
sure.
no, there could be only one.
That's exactly right.
How do we think Dan Cortez is doing right now?
I'm a little worried. I feel like if I looked into that, there might be some hashtags and some content that I might not want to be a part of.
Yeah, I'm looking into it. Dan, is it 2 ESE?
They
He could have been activated at a certain date that Sean.
You remember those commercials where the Burger King commercials he did? They did one in Sioux Falls, and my buddy Swang Chief was in the commercial, and he took a bite. Yeah, he took a bite out of a Whopper, and he got royalty. I saw him probably 9 years ago, and he said he still like randomly sometimes got like a royalty check for it.
That's incredible.
I mean, they'll also royalty check you down to 4 cents.
Yeah, yeah. He didn't say they were big, but it's just like he was just at Burger King. This was 92, I bet. We were 10. or something. He was just at Burger King, and they're like, take a bite of a Whopper. He took a bite of a
He's like,
Whopper.
hell yeah,
and
brother.
he was in this national Burger King commercial with your boy, Dan Cortez.
Glad that didn't go to like that guy's private reserve. Just like, just tell the little kid, bite that Whopper.
Take a bite of a Whopper.
Let me,
No, it should be a
your parents are here, right?
Yeah, there we go.
national commercial.
So in 2019, he hosted something called a Beach Bake Battle, but it doesn't have its own Wikipedia page, and it doesn't say what network.
What do you think it was?
I think it was like a baking show, but they did it on a beach.
Okay.
Was he rock or was he jock?
He was Jock.
He was Jock.
Put those hands together, my friend. I think
That's what I always like. Was he in that? Like, did he play like D1, D2 baseball or something?
He was a backup quarterback at the University of North Carolina.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
okay, that's cool.
he was MTV Sports. He was like the MTV Sports guy, right?
Yeah.
They really thought that was gonna work, huh?
It did work for a lot. Rock and Jock should never have left. I don't know why. I don't know why Rock and Jock isn't around. Like there's kids who of course don't know what it is. It's fantastic.
It's like the same as like this. I don't want to watch celebrity boxing. I'd rather just watch boxers box. You know what I mean?
Or like aggressively non-boxers box. I either want like total amateurs in the street, or I want the highest level.
Right,
Yeah.
right. That mid level. Because I feel like Rock and Jock was always like, oh, Nelly broke for 6 again.
Rock and Jock.
Oh, the
basketball.
two guys who were good at basketball. Oh, Chris Brown dunked on him, or whatever's going on.
Yeah.
We'll always have the moment when Queen Latifah picked Sean Kemp's pocket, though. Like that, like as a cultural moment, you're like, I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's why it ended. Like, how are we going to get better than Queen Latifah just cookies on Sean Kemp and then taking it the other way?
That was it.
Not a lot in that pocket. That's not a lot to pick from. But yeah.
Yeah, but he's down to shoot for it. That's what you gotta know.
Did that happen for real? Didn't that go away? Wasn't he the Sean Kemp drive-by thing?
It wasn't a drive. From what I understood, it was like somebody took his phone or something like that, and he tracked his iPhone to like the parking lot of the Tacoma Mall, and there was like an altercation. It wasn't like I don't think it was like a pop out the window like type of situation.
That's one that the Twitter got a hold of and turned into something that it wasn't.
I don't even know.
Possibly.
Easy on Twitter, okay? Twitter didn't
That's
do
right.
anything to you. Twitter's fine.
Yeah,
Twitter's
it's
out
like a
here.
big
It did a bunch of stuff to me. Don't talk to me like that. That shit's fucking
It's not
terrible,
Twitter.
bro.
Twitter's great.
It is Twitter.
Twitter's great.
It's
Twitter's
Twitter.
positive. It's sending a good message to everyone who's on it. Everyone's in a good mood because of Twitter. So, 301, man. I'm out here taking weird takes.
We're on Mastodon, dude. Find us on Mastodon. Find us on Truth Social.
Also,
Find
I
Sean
just,
Jordan on Sean Jordan on Twitter. Sean Cougar Melon Jordan on Instagram. David Gordon, you were saying.
I was just saying, I ran back that Queen Latifah clip. It is amazing.
Just like right in there. Just like his fast hands.
It's
Timed up his dribble.
It's just
picked
good
it.
basketball. He didn't see it coming.
Yeah.
And this is prime Cam. This is
She's
prime
just good
Cam.
at everything, right? So she's just one of those people who's like, whatever you got, she's gonna excel
I think
at
she
it.
can do a little bit of all of it. Yes.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
like her bowling average is like 210. Like she's
Right.
like
Exactly.
Yeah.
oh, you throw it with the hook this way? All right, I do that. And then two frames later, she's got it down.
Walks into a half marathon, just kind of bangs it out.
Yeah.
No training kind of thing.
That's right. Just drinking coffee the whole time.
Did her own taxes at the height of her career and nailed it.
Oh my god.
So many states, so many countries.
Such a bummer.
Sean Jordan, you're doing your taxes right now, right?
I did them yesterday.
How'd
yeah,
that
I did. It wasn't as hard of a pill to swallow as last year because I'm married. It saved a little bit of money. And I got them done early, which now I'm happy. I don't have to, whatever, they're done. They're done. So I did it. I didn't even buy myself a pair of shoes or anything like I normally do. I just did my taxes, had some coffee, and it was done.
Hell yeah, brother.
It feels
Listen by
good.
the government. Where do you like to think your money went?
Some dumb shit.
I don't know, man. I don't. I like to think it. I would love to think that it would go to people that I see every single day walking around who don't have health insurance. I would love to think that it went there and maybe got one of them a Band-Aid or something.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. It was a rest stop bathroom renovation. Rest stop bathroom renovation is where your money went.
Cool.
Yeah.
I mean, all things considered, it's pretty cool. Mine went to a tank, so like that's not
Yeah,
not ideal.
There's worse places for it to go.
Yeah.
Was it a Panzer?
Well, I mean, I don't know. You got to call me names. That's not nice. I show up here on your podcast and you're out here calling me a panzer. I don't appreciate
Fucking
that.
Panzer.
It's the only kind of tank I know.
Sean Jordan, what about an M1 Abrams, dude? You only know a Nazi tank?
I think so. I can't name any. A
You've
Sherman?
heard of an M1 Abrams, though. That's like
No,
the ones
there's a
in all the
Sherman tank.
movies.
I know what a Sherman tank is. Is that German?
No, it just rhymes.
Sherman the German?
Yeah, I'm starting to
riding the tank around.
Sherman tank is an American tank
Oh, that's Sherman the German.
and Western Allies.
April 27th, come to High Note Comedy, Portland, Oregon. Chris Charpentier. It's going to be fantastic. He's fantastic. You will love him. Wouldn't steer you wrong. And then May, we got Rob Hayes. We'll talk more about that in May, but we got good stuff coming up. I'm very...
Ooh.
Both of them... Okay, I don't know how this is. This isn't meant to sound bad. I always mean it. But with those two, I super mean it. They're fantastic. I hope that doesn't sound weird. I always mean it. I wouldn't put on a show that I didn't love the comics, but they're
Sean
just
is
they're
saying
both.
he usually books really bad comedians.
Yeah.
No.
And
He
you
shouldn't.
usually
And,
would hate it.
Anyone but Chris Charpentier and Rob Hayes, who's been on High Note or its previous iteration, Sean didn't like personally.
Yeah.
He sort of gasses them up so that it's a pump and dub scheme. He like,
Yeah,
I really
yeah.
want to gas them up, and then I take the cash out.
Yeah, exactly.
Normally, I got to pay like at least $200 for a pump and dump, so it's fun when I get paid for it. I'm into
Now, is
that.
that nice? Is that nice for you to say on this podcast? That's crass. I find that to be a crass joke.
Well, you know who doesn't have crass jokes is Chris Charpentier, and you can hear those
Wow.
April 27th
Look
at
at
High Note
that.
Comedy Migration Brewing. I think we'll be back outside by then, and hopefully I can say it by now. But yeah, I'm doing a show April 24th in Los Angeles at Los Globos. Should have a ticket link up. They should go fast, so come to that. It's a taping for Comedy Central, and it's going to be great. I'm excited.
People are coming to that, dude. People are coming to that.
Well, nobody showed up in Fort Collins. It will have happened. So you were right. Nobody showed up, and I just sat
said that
there.
to protect your feelings, so you can sort of set an expectation for yourself.
Somebody did literally tell me the other day, they were like, oh, I bought tickets to Sean, but I can't go, so I'm not going to show up.
You're gonna find that is just sort of like when you see a couple of ants and you know there's a bunch more, under the house.
That's fine. You buy the tickets. I don't care what you do. You just make sure the money transfers, and I'm golden.
There he is. He's our golden god, Sean Jordan. David Bordy's here, Cool Guy Jokes 87 on Instagram. David, where can people see your exploits, comedic and otherwise, live and otherwise?
When does this come out? Where is it at?
April 20th.
April 20th, yeah.
Whoa! Okay.
Well, I'll be...
Jeez, Mad Bull.
I'm smoking
All right.
weed today. Tomorrow, come see Brittany Carney at High Note Denver. She's very funny. Writer for That Damn Michael Che. New York headliner. Very, very funny. And then I got nothing crazy. Oh, you know what? June 18th, Jamel Johnson and I are co-headlining the DC Improv.
Oh.
So come to
very
that.
nice.
We are gonna... You think we're smoking weed?
Go get some more New Balances and Georgetown gear.
You think we're smoking weed today? Yeah, and then other than that, watch Royal Crackers, kiss your mom, whatever you gotta do.
Gotta do all that. Dan Devine is here.
Oh.
But you knew that already. Your Man Devine on Twitter. Your Man Devine on Instagram. But folks, that's a private account. So you gotta fucking earn it, bro.
So this is the social media team at Yahoo was like,
Yeah.
we're gonna do stuff on a new for your show on Instagram, but do you want to have that where your kids are and stuff? And I was like, no, not really. So also your Dan Devine on Instagram now. Which I was like,
There
I
he
felt a little bit bad at first. I was like, so nobody took this to try to impersonate me before because no one gives a fuck. But now it means I got it on lock. So I got that together.
No, that's great.
We don't control the All Fantasy Everything account on Instagram. Now, whoever does is doing a bang up job, and they're lovely.
They really are.
Because they could be doing all sorts of wild stuff on there, but no, they just post sort of episode recaps and all that. But we don't. Whoever that is, I thank you. And we love you.
It is funny.
Yeah, that's righteous. It's righteous.
Yeah, you just want to have like if people are going to be in your sort of insert themselves like that, at least you will have they're benevolent. Like it's nice to have somebody who's not like a mean actor on that side. You're like, all right, fine, I guess the team is getting bigger. Sure, we'll bring everybody in.
Just play. I would say play the keys a little bit more. You know, all fantasy everything on Instagram. Like throw up a moose video, whatever you want to. Just like the kind of stuff that we might throw up there. Go ahead. Feel free to explore the space.
Politics. Get into it.
Yeah.
Just start really letting it be known what you think.
Speak on our behalf. How do we feel about J.K. Rowling? Let's find out on Instagram together.
It would be tight if we were just finding out our opinions from a stranger.
Oh shit. We don't fuck with J.K. Rowling. That's just so you hear it straight from the horse's mouth. And that horse is fast, baby.
I don't fuck with magic. I've said it many times.
No, I don't either.
You're very clear on that.
Yeah,
You're
I don't-
very, very clear on that.
I think magicians are kind of dickheads. I'm not into any of them.
I don't want to go to the Magic Castle. I don't want to see close-up magic. I don't want to see far-away magic. I don't like their vibes. I don't like their whole game. I don't like it.
Brother.
I love magic.
Only kind of magic I'm into is mid-range magic, baby. I'm just,
Yeah, light
that light
caramel.
caramel. That light caramel.
Yeah.
Free throw caramel.
Now, what's a podcast where you might talk about some mid-range magic?
Well, it's
Transition.
nailing it. Just clutch rather. It's tough because this is the only podcast that's ever existed,
That's right.
and so it's really kind of you all to allow something under this umbrella. It's called No Cap Room, and it's an NBA podcast on the Ball Don't Lie podcast network through Yahoo Sports. Me and my co-host Jake Fisher talk about the NBA and a variety of other things. Most recently, Jake complaining about having to go to bachelor parties and then talking about how he wound up getting extremely muddy during that process. And I have to, as like the kind of grown-up older person, be like, don't complain when people want you to come to a bachelor party. Like, it's nice that they care about you. You know,
It's the
things like
best.
that. Yeah.
How did he get muddy?
Well, the bachelor party, in fairness to him, the bachelor party was like 2 hours outside of Nevada or something like, or it was outside of Reno, and there was an abandoned mine and ATVs. There was a lot happening that sounded a little bit like he might have died. So I understand in retrospect why he was a little upset. But ballpark, it's like people that love you want to be around you. So
Yeah.
Which is also the vibe we're trying to cultivate on No Cap Room, the podcast at Yahoo Sports, and I'm still writing at Yahoo Sports too, but this is another thing that we're putting on top of that now. So it's going well. I'm excited about it, and the idea that I get to come back and talk to you guys today has made my week. I've been looking forward to this all week, so thank you so much for having me back.
Well, we're drafting power moves today, and you pulled a power move on us last week. You were supposed to be on the podcast last week.
That was ultimately your best pick.
You backed out. You know, you said it was because of your child. Now
That's right.
Well, but that's a power move in and of itself. And then I backed out. So I was like, I was
You
not
doubled
going to.
down.
But the double down is just kind of a dick move.
Yeah, that was more of a dick move. Which we're drafting next week.
We pulled a power move and switched the topic minutes before we drafted.
It was power moves on top of power moves. I didn't like.
It was a very confusing week.
Nobody knew where they were at that point. Nobody had
It was
any idea.
hilarious. Shane was just like, "Oh, yeah."
We lost the horizon line.
He
We
probably-
lost the horizon line. So check out all that is to say, check out No Cap Room. If you even friggin' like basketball, and the three of us do. Although this season,
I like it a lot.
no.
I think it's different.
I'm having a pretty good time.
Shaden Sharp is coming on here, pretty hot. Second half of the rookie season, putting up good numbers.
Yeah, well, okay. Also,
Yeah.
though, we're first, is what I like to say.
Yeah.
Three-time MVP.
I mean, if you want to peak this early, that's fine. That's fine with me. The
Things are playing the long game. The long game.
That's it.
long game.
2-3 years down the road. I feel you.
But also, David, to your point about the MVP situation, so I found out like earlier this week, I'm gonna have a real vote again. So if you want to, send anything my way,
I'll send you some steaks right now. I'll send you some of Omaha's finest steaks to lock that in.
A little place called Omaha,
Ever heard of it?
Colorado's finest.
Who would you have to vote for where they would then take your vote away? Like, what's the most... Obviously, there's some payola involved.
Obi Toppin Toppin feels like a line, where you're sort of like,
There you go. Yeah.
It's like, no, he's not getting any minutes in New York. What happened here? And
One
that's,
can't quantify what he brings to the court.
that's exactly right. The
Yeah.
effervescence, the joie de vivre. But like, you can't. That's also not the kind of thing where like a drop-down menu mistake happens. It's like you went out of your way to fuck this up. So
Yeah.
Right.
Obi Toppin's name sounds like an especially horny Austin Powers.
Opie Toppin.
Obi Toppin. My name is Ian Carmel, at Ian Carmel on Twitter, at Ian Carmel on Instagram, at Ian Carmel on TikTok, at Ian Carmel on Jewish Obi Toppin app, which is only on the dark web, by the way.
I thought that app was Irish, but that's neither here nor there.
Obi Toppin.
Opie Toppin.
Obi Toppin. I can
in
say
the
that,
morning.
right? Top in the morning to you.
Yeah, you can say it. The Irish don't care.
Yeah.
We're not babies.
What about babies?
We don't care what people say about us. We're strong. We're strong people.
What about an Irish baby? Is an Irish baby not a baby?
No, an Irish baby's a grown up.
Yeah, it's a really grown-ass adult. They suck. I have two of them.
You can see. Well, we have two Irish on this podcast.
Yes, sir.
What a blessing. What a blessing.
I thought we said, Ian, I thought we said never again.
No, it did say never again. It did say never again. I'm not
The
happy
whole
about it.
show lineup was Irish when I was on the Late Late Show. It was pretty fun.
Oh, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. It was very Irish.
Yeah, I wanted to make a joke up top about how we were lucky to get the third Irish person up there without anybody being hammered, but I was told not. I was told not to go off guard. I go to Ian. He's like, maybe not on the first one ever. Don't just start riffing.
You can come see me at the Comedy Works in Denver on June 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. Get your tickets now. And then, geez, by the time this comes out, I guess the last week of the Late Late Show with James Corden, we've got some big guests. We've got some big guests coming out. Comedy bits with Tom Cruise, Adele,
Clifford the Big Red Dog?
Clifford the Big Red Dog, dude.
Mm-hmm. He's around.
We've got Matthew Lillard for a full hour digging into it.
How much is he paying? How much is he paying you for that?
We're paying him, dude. We've got a Reba McEntire hologram AI. Even though she's not dead, we can't get her, but we do have the hologram in AI, scripted by ChatGPT. We've got a peregrine falcon who he can say 3 words.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
We've got the snowman from Young Jeezy's t-shirt.
That's a big get. That's a
That's
big
a
get.
That's right there. Gucci Mane tried to get that and couldn't do it. So
He's coming on the last week.
Good on
So
you.
it's going to be a big week on the Late Late Show. Make sure you tune into that. And the even bigger news by now, I mean, this is you've noticed this if you're on the Patreon, we have updated the tiers and the benefits, and I'll say this: they're juicy. They're juicy now. There's 3 levels. There's
You're
dank.
Jewish?
I'm 100% for mitzvah and
he's
everything.
Jewishy.
I'm Jewish.
Jewishy.
The first level, for $7 a month, you get access to 1 monthly mailbag bonus episode, 1 monthly auction draft bonus episode. We auction drafted the Taco Bell menu last month. It was a whole lot of fun. It got
It was good.
competitive. We're going to be doing that every
It
month.
got confusing.
It got confusing. Strategy.
Makes it fun. It does make it fun. When I'm confused, I have more fun, generally.
That gets you bonus live episodes. When we do live episodes, we record them, and with the exception of Philadelphia, we put them out. An invitation to a quarterly Patreon exclusive live stream that we'll be doing. That's just for the patrons, where we do a live stream episode. You get to vote on who you think won the episode. You get access to ad-free episodes of All Fantasy Everything and exclusive pre-roll content at the $10 level. Dank, if you will. You get access to all of that, plus bonus mini episodes of the Pitchin' Kitchen, where Sean David and I work through dumb ideas, stand-up premises, and potential inventions that will change the world. And then you get to vote on topics for us to do as well. And then also exclusive early access to live All Fantasy Everything tickets. So you get all that. It's fantastic. And then the final level, which is $20 a month, gets you all of the aforementioned and
one piece of exclusive all fantasy everything merchandise designed and manufactured by the good people at Trailblazing. So if you're in that $20 level, make sure you get us your address and we'll get that sent out to you.
Just for you.
Access to the AFE Slack, which is unmoderated, by the way. But if you do anything janky in there and we find out about it, we reserve the right to kick you out.
Out, no
But I can
questions
do
asked.
all of those benefits, plus those two things, plus our eternal gratitude.
Also, you can spit in Sean's mouth.
You can spit in Sean's mouth.
Yeah, if you got the right kind of Mountain Dew in there, you can, sure.
Yeah. You can baby bird one gulp of Mountain Dew into Sean's mouth.
Sorry, is there a wrong kind of Mountain Dew, Sean? Like, I mean, given your
Not
taste
according
profile.
to him.
That's why he's a journalist. He asks the right questions. Sean?
Ian, earmuff it for me. I don't like Code Red. Code Red can fuck off. I do not like Code Red. I hate it. Yeah. Every other one, those pretty good. No, wait, hold on, no, they're all pretty good. That Peeps Pepsi, that's horrible.
Well, now we're talking about other sodas.
I know,
Yeah,
but
you're
it's
just-
in
now you're
the
getting
family
into different-
Mountain Dew Pepsi. I like all the Mountain Dews except for Code Red. Straight up.
All right, so
Really?
no baby bird in Code Red. You heard that here first.
You'd be surprised at what I let you do after a live show. I've baby birded a lot of... Yeah, you can look me after a live show. I'm sure we could figure something
I
out.
baby birded him a dead baby bird one time.
Yeah.
Right.
That was pre-show, too.
Yeah, it was baby bird inception.
It's
Yeah.
all gravy in that photo line, baby. Nothing. You could baby bird me gravy.
Yeah.
What is it about the Code Red? Is it that it feels kind of thicker?
Don't like it. I don't know. I don't know. You know what I also, actually, it's funny that we're talking about it.
Get comfy.
Preemptively, I brought this. I'm gonna shotgun this for the Patreon. Not shotgun it, but I'm gonna chug it. It's the fruitcake one, which is
Sean.
only good in like a couple drinks of it is good. Did you try it? Don't be that guy. Have you tried it?
No, I haven't tried the fruitcake Mountain Dew, Sean.
Okay, there. See, let's not be those people, huh?
Fair
You're
enough.
going to shotgun it?
I was going to, but I can't shotgun it in here.
Because your wife's home?
No, she's gone.
She told you to
computer
stop
around.
doing that.
I can't shotgun it in here because the bank still owns most of this house.
If you shotgun something, it gets everywhere. You got to open it with a key. You've shotgun stuff, right?
Yeah, but it doesn't always get everywhere. Sometimes it does.
It gets somewhere. If
Yeah,
you
that's
open
true,
this
that's
with
true,
a
that's
key,
true.
it's not gonna. But I will do it today. I will shotgun this today, and I will put it up on our Patreon. I promise. I'm
No
gonna shotgun
This is
Mountain
another
Dew.
one. This is one of those things nobody asked you to do ever. Nobody was like, you
I can't
have
have
so
fun?
many. No, you always do that where you're like, all right, I don't even
All right,
care.
fine.
I'll chug this glass of hot sauce. And we're like, no, it's noon. Please don't. And you're like, fine, I'll fucking do it. You don't think I'll do it?
I'm allowed to have fun on our Patreon page too.
You never chugged that glass of hot sauce, right? Just to be clear.
You wouldn't let
You
me.
asked
I was
me.
going to do it.
I will not let you.
I was going to do it in New York, I think.
Yeah, no chance.
You wouldn't even
No.
entertain the idea.
You know, sodium alone it would just fuck up your whole system, dude. Like it would like. You ever look into like a teaspoon? I hate to be all like back of the fucking box here, but like a teaspoon of hot sauce is like 3 to 5% of your daily value of sodium. So then you extrapolate that into a pint glass. I can't do the math here, but a lot, dude, a lot. It would fuck up your whole system for a minute.
Hearing you say that, now I like to learn things on here.
The gentleman made
I
it fun.
have way more than a teaspoon of hot sauce every day. How
Sure.
bad is that for me? That's really bad.
Well, it depends on. It's probably fine.
I bet you I have a rocks glass full of hot sauce every day.
That's what? No, that's not right. That can't be the
I bet it's right. I bet it's
A
right.
rocks glass?
Probably. I bet you I have like 2 ounces of hot sauce
A
a day.
rocks glass? Like,
Yeah, I bet. God, I should. You know what I should do one of these days is I should, every time I put hot sauce on something,
See a
I should do the
doctor?
same amount.
some type of a colon cleanse?
I should do the same amount of shakes in a glass and just see. You know what I mean? Like 4 for the burrito, 4 in the glass. 4 for the taco, 4 for the glass.
You know, as we get older, it's something to be conscious of.
I thank you for leaning in. I appreciate
Yeah.
it. For everybody listening, Ian leaned in.
just like sodium consumption in general, it's good to be like, how much am I really, you know what I mean? Like, take a gander, be aware. Some things will surprise you.
I've never monitored that or caffeine, really. I'm just starting to monitor caffeine, where it's like,
You
no,
drink a lot of caffeine? I guess
not
those-
really, but I drink it. I used to drink it till like 7 at night. You know, now
Yeah.
it's like nothing after 2. So
Well, caffeine's less of an issue than sodium.
really,
Yeah, sodium is like, that's your blood pressure.
the last time I got a workup, Dr. Josh, he rules. He's our doctor.
Dr.
He
Dr.
did the whole
Josh.
thing. I was really worried about my liver, you know,
Yeah.
and I was scared, like, to go to the doctor. I was very scared. I was like, what's my liver like? Hit me with it. Because by the time my dad was this age, his liver was shot. And he goes, your liver, it looks fantastic. I started crying a little bit, and he goes over everything, and then he goes, I'm not thrilled about your cholesterol. And I was like, okay. I was like, well, I can take that, but I don't even know how to do anything about it. I've never even looked into what cholesterol, I don't even know what cholesterol is.
That's a brave thing to admit, and I'm glad you did.
Yeah, I don't know what to
I feel like
do.
this
Like,
is
if
a
I didn't.
different draft.
This is the biggest power move either. I looked at Josh, I go, I don't even know what cholesterol is, and I walked out. I ate a stick of butter and I walked out of the doctor's office.
Cholesterol is like a fatty substance. You need cholesterol in your blood. There's 2 kinds. There's
Yeah, there's
HDL
good and bad,
there's
right.
LDL. Yeah. You need the good kind of cholesterol, and you get that from like nuts, butts,
Coconuts, right? Yeah.
coconuts. No, you get that from like almonds, you know, like omega-3 fatty acids, like fish and stuff like that. Avocado, good fats. You know.
Guessing I have more of the bad cholesterol then.
If he was concerned, if he wasn't thrilled, it was probably the bad stuff. And you get that from you can get it from meat, and you get it from like fatty foods.
Okay.
So
Now we know.
it's all just stuff to be aware of as we push into our 40s here.
What tier of the Patreon is Ian gives everybody a health workout? Like, at what level each month are you like going over everybody's charts?
Yeah, we're going to have to get your health insurance involved.
Don't drink a pint glass of hot sauce. Is that a health workout, or is that
That's
just
the
like
name of the book.
That's just like, hey, you gotta relax. Your butthole's
Yeah,
gonna explode.
That's the moat around the food pyramid,
yeah, it is.
which is fine. We still operate by the food pyramid in this house.
Yeah, we do. Just check out the Patreon. It's really exciting, fun stuff. And come see me in Denver. And we're not here to talk about the moat around the food pyramid, although we kind of are. We are here to fantasy draft power moves.
Mm-hmm.
Dan, you sent us several exciting topics. Power moves was among them. What inspired this topic, Dan?
Fear, pressure, feeling like I needed to have like 5 or 6 decent ideas, and also thinking about what nouns go together.
good.
So power moves kind of hit pretty quick. I'm also the idea. I am not personally somebody in my day-to-day life who is thinking about how to get the upper hand in a situation all that often.
Me either.
But I find the behavior kind of fascinating. Like because I mean, there's crappy applications of it, and I'm sure we'll talk through some of those. But like pickup artisty kind of stuff. But there's also like if you are a certain kind of business person, you're also like, no. Here's how you set up the meeting. Here's how you do. And I'm like, it is all foreign to me. But how some of that stuff filters through to your day-to-day life, I thought was a pretty big sandbox to play in.
Yeah. This was a fun list to put together. Also, shout out to Mike Burns and his podcast Power Moves, which is not what we're doing today. It's just like a fun name he has for it. But just thinking, anytime you can shout out Mike Burns,
There you go.
Pizza Nacho 69 on Twitter.
One very specific aspect of my life is the only place where I make power moves, and it's funny when I thought about
After you
most.
drink a pint glass of hot sauce, I know where you're going to be making power moves.
Yeah.
He's a power bottom.
Sees your asshole screaming into the toilet like Faith No More.
I'm not gay!
What is it?
Now, the way we determine the order of this draft is through a rollicking game of rock, paper, scissors, played between the 3 of you, and we throw on shoot. Here we go. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Oh, Dan wins.
Oh, my man.
Unbound
victory.
victory.
Yeah, a rock against 2 papers. Dan, as the winner of rock, paper, scissors, it is incumbent upon you to determine the order of today's draft. Before you do that, I will remind you, it is a serpentine draft.
And what is that?
Basically, it means if you pick fourth in the first round, you pick first in the second round.
Now that right there, for all the listeners,
Power
that's
move.
a power move.
That's a
Hell
fucking
yeah.
power
That's a
move.
power
That's
move.
a power move. You want to do
Also,
it anyway,
Sean
Sean?
doing this with his hands.
That's a
When did you
spicy power
start?
move.
When did you start? Is this for this episode? Like Sean's just gonna steeple throughout the episode?
Can I? Is David? Is it? Yeah, I think I might. Yeah. I'm sorry. Is it David? Is that your name?
David, was it?
I'm sorry.
God, I don't want it. Those are
Dan, with that in mind, what will the order of today's draft be?
Dan, Ian, Sean, David.
Hot corner.
There you
Okay.
go.
Wow.
Power
Yet
move.
another power move.
See, I love this shit,
Yet
man.
another power move.
Not gonna lie, was thinking about that from the second I sent the DM with the topic. But
I feel uncomfortable. I don't feel safe. I never feel safe at pick 2 or 3.
That's
I think
because
I
of
was
the
writing
power.
this list and I was like, am I an asshole? Because I was getting excited about just doing some of this stuff and I'm like, wait.
I
deep down,
wasn't.
am
I wrote this list and I thought of just like every weird thing I've had somebody try to do to me in like Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Like power moves are like mostly douchebag moves, right?
Yeah.
But
You have
anyways,
the first pick in the All Fantasy Everything Power Moves draft. And we're going to get to that first pick right after this short break.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Now, in life, there's tons of obstacles. They're always going to be there. We talk about it almost every week for a reason, because I feel like there's so many people out there who, no matter what, they're just on the fence about getting help with anything that might be challenging them. Get help. If there's anything stopping you from absolute happiness, do what you can to help yourself. You know, getting to know yourself, it can be a lifelong process. We're always growing, always changing. I know I've said it before, but all the time I look back at myself, it could be a week ago, a year ago, 10 years ago, and I'm like, that kid knew nothing. You know, I'm 41, I call myself a kid. Therapy is all about deepening your self-awareness and understanding, so you can understand yourself, why you're feeling those thoughts, anything you might be going through. But BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist who can take you on that journey of self-discovery from wherever you are. You can get whatever you want out of it. I know so many people who have benefited from therapy. I know people who have tried this because of our podcast, and it makes me so happy. One of my great friends now uses BetterHelp because of this, because they just thought, I've been thinking about it, I'm going to try it, and they haven't looked back since. Like I said, if you're thinking about starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's done entirely online. It is designed to be convenient, flexible, suited to your schedule. Discover your full potential with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/allfantasy today to get 10% off your first month. Again, that's BetterHelp, HELP.com/allfantasy. This episode of All Fantasy Everything is brought to you by Native. Now, when it comes to personal hygiene, none of us have the time to read the long list of ingredients on the back of the bottle. I don't even think I've ever glanced at it. And if you're like me and you care about what goes into your body, but maybe don't take the time to actually do your due diligence, it's time to try Native personal care products like I did. Every Native product is thoughtfully formulated to keep you feeling and smelling fresh all day long. You know Native for their aluminum-free deodorant. Native keeps their ingredients list bare naked. They got ingredients you understand, like coconut oil, shea butter, baking soda. One of those was an old nickname of mine. You pick, could be any one of them. Native deodorant checks all the boxes you're looking to check. That 72-hour odor protection box, check. Naturally derived ingredients, check. And a smooth residue-free application, check, 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 check. When you use Native, you will smell amazing all day long, thanks to their long-lasting scents. Obviously, if you want to smell spicy and woodsy, they got you. If you want to smell clean and fresh, they got you. They have so many fun limited edition scents with their cabin collection. They got warm cider and cinnamon, cashmere and rain, toasted marshmallow and vanilla. Come on, what are we doing now? And wildwood and cardamom. Come on now, what are we doing? They are all fantastic. Smell and feel fresh all day long with Native. Get 20% off your first order by going to native.com/allfantasy or use promo code allfantasy at checkout. Again, that's native.com/allfantasy or use promo code allfantasy at checkout for 20% off your first order.
Yeah, we're back. Welcome back to All Fantasy Everything, the only podcast that has ever existed.
Yeah.
The podcast that didn't just invite Dan Devine to a barbecue, just for the record.
Okay. Got to be clear about it. Got to be clear about it.
My
It's
voice
been
cracking,
revoked.
not a power move.
This is the only podcast. I don't even know if I want to mention No Cap Room,
See, power.
given this current state of affairs.
break
But I will.
that glass on your floor.
Papa Chico, it's a tight bubble. It's a tight bubble.
Stone Cold Steve Austin showing up. Yeah, just fucking.
Oh,
Man.
he'll be there, dude. Stone
Maybe
Cold
barbecue?
Steve Austin, Cold Stone Steve Austin.
A lot of people don't know he makes a great hummus.
Well, he gets the chickpeas himself.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. He's a good, you know.
He's got a chickpea guy.
He
He's got
body
a guy.
slams all of them.
Stone Cold Steve Austin is going to be there. What do you got?
I got a chick guy, I got a pea guy. I haven't combined it yet.
That's a whole different kind of hummus.
There's a whole- yeah.
No, it's a much different backyard party I'm planning for.
That's coming in the backyard.
My chick guy and my pea guy are coming over.
Legally, I can't have it in the house. The cops said you can't do that anymore.
We are drafting power moves. Dan Devine, you have the first pick in the power moves draft. What will that first pick be?
Paying for your father-in-law's dinner.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah.
Because
In a good or a bad way?
in a, well, I mean, in a good way insofar
And we're gonna
as,
stay married.
but I mean, just the idea of like, I get that there's an established structure here. There's a hierarchy of power in terms of where the check goes. But you know what? Bring the fucking check over here, because you know what? I'm doing pretty well. And your daughter, she's doing great. She's fine. We're all taken care of over here. So you know what? You get,
We're all taken care of over
I
here.
just I'm picturing you saying this as they're slowly sliding the check over. Like you're slowly
Yeah.
pulling it over.
Yeah.
Your daughter's fine. We're taking care of it. You're just
Right.
taking your time.
and
They
it's
don't like it.
they're not a big fan of it, and it's like, and Sarah's dad, extraordinarily sweet man, like super kind, never like I needed to establish my my dominance in a situation, but it was also like you do this all the time. Again, it's something that it is like inherent to your self-conception. I'm the guy who gets the check. Fucking not today, all right?
Yeah.
And the fact that when that happened, Sarah was kind of like, yeah, no, we don't need to ask my parents for money for shit. Like, we're good. And it's like, yeah, no, I got this. We're good. I gotta be honest, it felt like a level up. It felt like not only, like, I asked that man for your hand in marriage, and now I got dinner. We're good to go. It's a little bit of like, all right, man, I got something behind here. We put something together here.
Yeah. I can handle this. You have the daughter's hand in marriage and the father's ham in
Man.
Flagrante delicto.
Yeah, exactly.
The
Yeah.
ham and the nude.
I got like the nod the first. I got an yeah, cool. That. You know, when the first time I actually picked up the check, because the general has never he's never been anything but the sweetest person.
Right.
They always pick up always. And I think I can't remember when it happened, but I remember one time I was just like, is it all right? And he just looks at me and goes, thank you very much. Not an I expected you to do this thing, not a you should do this thing, but he was just like, thank you. And I could see a little bit of, like, cool. It feels fun,
Was there
Yeah.
an air of what took you so long to it at all? Or no?
I didn't have the money. It wasn't possible when I first met you.
The general's definitely down to tell Sean it's about damn time.
Yeah.
General, here's something that doesn't cost me any money. I didn't have the money to do this when I first met you, so now...
I gotta sneak. If I'm gonna do that to Mike Schwartz, I gotta sneak off and take
Yes.
care of it. And like,
Do you have to get it before it gets there, kind of thing?
I gotta like figure out what restaurant we're going to in 3 weeks ahead of time, like fax them my card information. When I've done it, I'm like, it's the only time when I'm like, is he actually mad at me? Because he's the loveliest person on. He's
Right.
he's the sweetest dude
He's
in the
great.
world. He's great. He's great. I love that guy. He's fantastic. But when I picked up the check, there's like a little edge in his voice.
Well, when it happened here, it was because, or there was a connection that I didn't realize at first. I found out later because Sarah's dad used to have to try to fight to do that with Sarah's grandfather, and
Yeah.
it was like order food, whatever comes into the apartment building, and he's like, I'm gonna meet the guy at the elevator, and then it turns out like actually your father-in-law paid for this, like, like gave his card to the friggin' doorman or something like that. Like, there was always levels to it. Like, you could never get ahead of it. So then when I was able to get ahead of it, it was like, you understand where this is coming from. You understand why it mattered to me.
Yeah.
You understand, like, there's this little circle of life component here.
That's a torch pass, right?
Yeah.
And like, there was a moment of frustration, but also an acknowledgement, like, all right, you're moving in a good direction, and so that there's some power moving throughout the dynamic in that situation, which was the first thing I thought of when I thought about it. Was like, if you're in like a relationship where your father-in-law thinks you're a dickhead, that's a power move. Like, nah, I'm fucking cool. But if you're in a good relationship, it's also like, all right, man, you can take care of your business, and I appreciate that. So it's nice to kind of have it on either side.
Also, it's like one dinner here and there. Isn't
Yes,
it?
right.
I hope I should be.
Sir, you can get the next 15, and that's totally fine. But today's my day.
The day that we went to Culver's, I got it.
I've never been like, within reason, I don't feel bad when other people pick up the tab, so I never think it should be a big, like, now that I can, I love doing it whenever I can, but I never, like, if somebody wants to get the tab, I'm never like, oh, damn it, I really wanted to, like,
Right.
It's fine. As long
It'll
as
come out in the wash.
Yeah, it all comes around. I think. I'm trying anyways to make up. I've had a lot of tabs picked up for me. And I try to make up for it forever.
There you go.
Excellent first pick. It's time for my first pick. And I'm going to take, it's very weird being second. I'm going to take winning a handshake.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's good. Oh, I used to be a wet noodle, man. You might have been you. It was Ian or it was Anthony Lopez. One of you two, you were like, you gotta squeeze a little bit. Because I was always trying, like, way over non-conversational.
Yeah, you are a wet noodle handshake.
Yeah,
You better.
I do. I
You
squeeze
just
a little
gotta
now.
have a firm.
Yeah.
You don't have to go OD. I hate OD guys, but like, you gotta have something in there.
Like the dominating, yeah.
I'm not saying I don't do the OD, but it is a fucking power move, and it's one that I've been on the wrong side of. Somebody will grab you, they'll pull you in. There's the pull you in handshake.
Yeah, where you're like, I didn't know we were fighting.
Yeah. The squeeze, they just like sort of crush your hand, pull you in, and give it like a tense, like the mix of paint.
If you're not coming in strong, like, cause like I'm used to a dap too. So if I think I'm coming in for a dap and then they go for a hand, like a strong handshake, then you're like, no, I was coming in loose because I thought there was going to be flex to this.
They grab your unsuspecting hand and squeeze it.
Like now you're on the basketball court in jeans because you didn't know it was a pickup game. You thought you were just playing horse or something.
Yeah. I was just shooting around until my bus comes, I thought.
They're about to tell you, like, I know it was you, Fredo, and you're like, I wasn't ready for all this. This is way too aggressive.
Now Queen Latifah picks my pocket. Like, I thought this was rock and jock.
Yeah, it's a big power move. You could throw in a how the hell are you too. You know what I mean? It can be a real...
Where they grab you and they like hit your shoulder or something, where you're like, whoa, no, because then you got to reset. Like, you're not controlling my body. That's not what's happening right now.
But they're trying to.
Yeah.
That's
fine. Honestly, you lose the handshake, you got to punch him in the face. That's really all it.
That's just a friend.
Punch him right in the mouth.
I'm thinking about this, but like, with my really good friends, it's like and I'm sure everybody, it's the opposite of a power move. I've never thought about this, how soft I go in. Like, when I see one of you, I give like a real soft, like, pat of the hand, or like, like a pull your hand like close to my chest and we hug, but it's a real soft, like, almost pet your back kind of thing. It's never an aggressive anything when I see my really good friends. You know what I mean?
What about when you're really happy to see them, though?
Well, yeah, that's different if I, like, run up and bear hug you, but like the other night at High Note, I saw Shane Brennan and just like kind of even slowed our hands down before we touched and just barely touched and then gave a tiny little hug. I'm just thinking about that.
That's
beautiful. Very gentle.
That is really nice.
That's fun. I've never thought about that until just now.
If I'm meeting like, I don't know if I've done this with like any of
And then we
Dana's.
kissed. It was like a soft kiss.
Or like a very gentle, like a butterfly landing on a baby's cheek. If I'm meeting like an ex-boyfriend or somebody they've dated or gone on a date with, like in the past, sometimes I think I'll come into that handshake pretty hard.
Yeah.
I've never taken kindly to that, and I never will. And you shouldn't have to. I don't like it when people are like, "Oh, you should be cool." No, I'll
I'm
never
not
ask
gonna.
you to be cool. No,
Yeah.
no, I don't
I've
want to
decided
be.
not to be cool.
Yeah, right away, and they didn't do
Yeah.
anything wrong.
I'll be fine, but I'm not
Well,
gonna be cool.
Do you want to hear something?
Yeah.
I bet you would be less than fine. This is coming from the best place. Not less than fine, but I bet you I could see something where you would be just to the left of.
Oh, I'll be
in the
just
middle.
to the left. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Oh,
I mean, as someone who's been on the other side of that, don't be cool. Then you just feel weird for her.
yeah.
Like I've been there where it was like he was too nice to me. You know what I mean?
Oh,
And she,
yeah.
and she's like kind of like, come on, man. And he's like, oh, so you just like tour doing stand up? That's so cool, man.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's amazing.
And you're like, yeah, I am pretty great.
Yeah. To follow your dreams. That's
Yeah, no, I don't know why anybody would want to break up with me.
I've had somebody surprise their dude with it right there, where they're like, "Yeah, this is Sean. We dated for a while." I was like, "What? You didn't know? You can't just stay in front of both of us for the first time."
No.
I thought maybe he knew, or no, we weren't going to talk about it.
That has to be a pretty established situation.
I mean, but he knows because I mean Drake has that verse about it, right? I know those type of hugs. He knew. By the way, the whole thing changed when I got there.
Yeah.
That's the worst is when he knows and she doesn't say anything, and then you're just like, yeah, so no. We used to frequent the same bars at night.
Yeah,
we're just old friends.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I could blindly get to her bedroom if I shut my eyes. I could.
Oh, you remember that toothbrush? That was
That's
his.
his. That was his.
Yeah, that was his toothbrush. You were wondering why? It's
You know
there.
what,
Yeah.
that hoodie I let you the other day when you were cold? Yeah, that was his band.
That's why I have Champ Sports basketball shorts.
I was out in my when I was a little more of a hothead or whatever, and I saw a guy show up with my ex-girlfriend in my old shirt that I still would like to have. And I remember they walked in, and I was not fun for anybody at the bar. That I was a handful, but it was
Did you
crazy.
think about getting that shirt? Or you're like, hey, let me get that shirt?
Yeah, I mean, that's what you gotta do. Although I don't know how you get that without being a fucking mark.
I'll tell you.
No, it's cool. Just give me my shirt back. Just give me my shirt back.
No, I'm fine. I'm fine. I just really like that shirt. Spitfire doesn't make that anymore.
But bro, you don't even know. She's a fucking dickhead. Give me my shirt.
Yeah, so
That wasn't hers to
I
give.
left in the back of a flatbed truck with a few other people. It was that kind of where
That's
somebody
never
like
a good
pulled
night.
me.
wow.
Somebody pulled me into this truck. No, I'm not trying to sound like he probably would have killed me, but
A pickup
I was,
or a flatbed?
Oh, not a flatbed, a
Okay,
pickup
okay.
truck, like the bed.
Either way, it's a
Yeah.
bad scene.
I was bad, yeah.
Yeah, I was ready to try to get it, and some people were like, it's probably not going to go the way that you think it's going
You
to
were
go.
evac.
Yeah, because that's another one of those things where you're like, bro, I can't. You can't.
It was crazy,
There's
and
no,
then even
there's no
later
win
that
for
night,
you here.
there were months. It was for months. It was a whole thing because it was not a big town, like so. I'd just seen him a lot at shows. We'd all go do the same shit, and it lasted for way too long. But yeah, I didn't take kindly to it. Is the point?
I don't know how we got here, but I'm glad we all got that out.
Well,
Guys.
I mean, that's the kind of guy who you beat in the handshake. You don't even have to. You don't
Yeah,
even have to
there we go.
Yeah. Now, Sean Jordan, it's time for your first pick.
When you're in a parking lot and there's people waiting and you back into the spot anyways.
Oh God.
And I'm not condoning this, but it's a power move. It is a power move. I don't do it. I'm not a back into the spot person ever, but it is a power move. There's just no getting around it. I get so upset when I see it happening.
Hate it.
You're a mad car guy. You guys are both mad car guys
Yes,
too.
we are.
I'm much better. Much better. I
You've
will
been
say that.
working on it.
I'm still not great, but I'm much better.
I get worse every second of the day. That's the only thing. I've had people ride in cars with me and they're like, whoa. I didn't know you could get like this. And I'm like, I'm like it, baby, right now.
No, it's jarring.
If I'm going through a parking
It's
lot
jarring
and I
with you because
see...
you beat it. Sometimes you're not even yelling. Sometimes you're like, this
It's just a
motherfucking
respect thing. It's
piece
just
of
Money,
shit.
power, respect.
Yeah, dude, when I see a car backed into a spot that I didn't even see park, I'll still drive by and I'm like, you fucking prick.
Where you
I'll
go.
say it. I'll say it under my breath, alone, whatever. I'll do a parked car.
No, I can only
It doesn't
imagine
have
what
to
you
be a
say
busy-
alone.
It's not amazing. It's not amazing.
Someone backing into a spot is probably the thing that I like the least, that affects me the least. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
Totally. I just, the bigger the car, sometimes it does
But do
make
you
a little
feel
sense.
like do you think you're so mad because you feel like low key that the person's big dick in you?
A little bit. I feel like it's very disrespectful to make anybody wait in a parking lot when you can pull into the spot. It's like, there's a whole bunch of levels to it. It boils down to you thinking that your time is more important than someone
Yes.
else's. That's
Right.
the whole, with driving, that's
And
almost
behaving
all of
that
it.
way, quite honestly, a power move.
It is. Most of the things I get upset about are just like, is two things. It's me having to realize, like, shit, I live in a world with other people who either have no idea how this is supposed to work, and this is one of the easiest things in the world, so if you don't understand it, that means you're a moron, or you're that disrespectful and I have to live in the same world with you, which they both infuriate me, and so yes, I say things in my car. Go ahead, Ian.
it's also just practically, it's I just knocked over Topo Chico. Fucking pissed.
Break it, dude, break it.
It like,
Sorry to get so mad.
it's harder to back into a spot than it is to back out of a spot. You know what I mean? Like, because
Which
that
is
takes
someone showing off.
it's a more precise measurement. Whereas when you back out, there's nothing but room. You know what I mean? You're backing out into the bay.
That's somebody thinking they're like, oh, well, I'm supposed to think you're cool because you had 10 extra seconds and you can put your head out the window. It's just, it's the least juice for the squeeze to me, backing into
Yeah,
a spot.
yeah.
Just, it's horrible. Can't stand it. Anyway. Sorry, I'm getting all puffy now. Sorry.
No, it's a great pick.
Taking in all this air.
But that broader point of like anything that somebody's doing to let you know, like what matters more is how I get out of here or what I have to do after this, as opposed to what everybody else around me has to deal with right now.
Right.
Like that, like the order of importance is me, and then a bunch of things about me, and then fucking you, like way down here.
Yeah.
There are sometimes, rarely, I'll just see someone doing it and like their face, I can tell they're not doing it for anything. They're just kind of doing it. Sometimes an older person or whatever, they'll just kind of do it, and whatever. That's
Well,
that's
maybe
the
the
one I
grandpa
can
was the dickhead, and then they're like, Dad learned to do it, and then they passed it on. They think that's the natural way
That's
of
the
doing things
one I can
because
handle.
it's a dickhead domino situation. You know what I mean? They just are an unwitting domino in that act, and nobody's calling them on it.
Then there's like the other end where it's like a big old dually, and they're backed in, and they're hella in two spots, and they're crooked, and you're like, oh. And then I have a whole bad trip at the grocery store. They're just
Julie's
sullying my
parking
whole
next to most cars is an asshole move anyways. You gotta
Yeah.
take it to the back of the fucking lot, bro. You know what
Yeah,
you
Dualies in general are kind of, unless that's a fucking workhorse, like just in general, it's kind of.
You don't know what a
dickhead
dually is? It's a
situation.
big old truck with like 4 tires on the back instead. Instead of
Yeah.
2. Like,
You better be hauling some shit, dude. I mean, come on.
yeah.
Let's see.
Gotta be hauling Sean Jordan and some other people away from the bar at the end of the night.
Right, exactly. You better have like some fucking goal-oriented behavior there, and that you need that truck for.
Sean, he was gonna leave with your shirt regardless of how you tried to get it back. So let's just get in the truck, we'll go to a party, and we'll all listen to you about what you would have done if we didn't peel you out of there. How about that?
We're getting
you're
all the
if
townsfolk
you're-
together to go fight Edward Scissorhands. Everybody's gotta get in the back of the truck.
No, Sean, totally. You had him. Let's just go to our house in the basement where you know everybody, and we'll listen to your stories all night.
If you're a spot backer upper, hit us up on Twitter and just
Justify
kind of
it.
try to break it down for us. You know what I mean? Make it caveman simple, as Sean likes to say.
Yeah,
We're not going to confront you with judgment, but please know that we're holding it in our hearts in a very
Yes.
real way.
I do
So
not like it.
It's an away game for you, but we would like to know your justification.
I do not like it.
David, time for your first and your second pick.
So my first pick, this was the first thing that brought to mind because it's just as powerful as it was the first time I saw it, somebody do it in 6th grade in the junior high bathroom, as it was 3 weeks ago at the Ja Rule concert. I'm picking lighting up some weed.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
It's like, that shit is always where you're like, whoa, we can smoke? Insert place here.
Yeah.
You're like, yo, this guy doesn't give a fuck. Like, clear, no matter matter where, it's always just, you're like, yo. And then you gotta be like, okay, yeah, no, I do this too. I smoke here too.
Every time it happens, I'm like, you're gonna get in trouble.
yeah, that's what it's always like, and then you're like, it's just always, it's always been the boldest people I know who are just like, no, I don't give I smoke weed right here. I smoke weed wherever I want. That's crazy. I'm just gonna do drugs right here.
Yeah. All these concerts, I'm all, even still in places where weed is legal, and I've been to that venue and I've seen it go unpunished 100 times. I'm still like, well, what are you doing?
It's crazy. You just see a
And
puppet
it's also,
smoking, you're like,
they're like living a life that you want to live. Like at Ja Rule, I was like, damn, I wish I had brought. I didn't even bring any weed.
Yeah. I didn't even think about that.
Didn't even think about it. And then you see this guy who's having such a good time. He's like, you know what's going to make this better and nobody's going to get in trouble for it? Smoking this, and you're like, yeah, guy.
I'm blackout drunk on Molly and still worried about this dude lighting up a joint.
Right.
Illegal drugs in me.
You have a felony's worth of narcotics inside of you, and you're still like, well, this guy can't smoke weed. Like, it's always such a cool move.
That was, when I was a kid, they'd pass, like, people would bring in a joint to a show, you know, obviously wasn't supposed to be there, and then they just pass it around. I'm like, oh, this is crazy. We all take a hit. We all did it. They can't kick us all out. It's the whole show. So,
And
they gotta let us stay.
From the legalization days, I remember doing gigs in Reno one time.
Yeah.
When I was living in San Francisco, and we were like outside the venue, and just me sparking a blunt, and the Reno comics being like, "Okay, San Francisco, okay," because it wasn't legal. It wasn't legal there yet. And you're like, "Oh, that's right. I am cool."
Yeah.
I smoke drugs on the street.
That would happen Bridgetown a lot. You know, you'd see these comics in front of the venues all smoking, and you're like, oh, all right. You see, like, who didn't care?
Yeah.
Warlord behavior.
It's always, no matter where I am, it's always wild to me where you're just like, damn, okay, you just smoke right
It
here.
always will be, too, because the older I get, the more my, like, sensibilities change or whatever, so it's hard for a different reason. When I was a kid, I was like, oh, you're going to get in trouble. Now I'm like, whoa, you're being disrespectful. Look at that, that's crazy. But not in a real way, because weed smells good, but...
it
just like, holy
dissipates
buckets.
fast. It's like people smoke cigarettes outside all that. It's not that big a deal, but it still feels like it goes back to just seeing those kids do it in junior high, where you're like, "What the fuck, dude?" My mom's gonna smell this when I get home in 7 hours.
Right, exactly. I'm going to hell.
Yeah.
If any of you Gen Zers who are just risen off, you know,
Rizzy, baby.
just risen off with the center parts right now, we know you listen. Is it still as big of a deal for you guys? Like, I guess people who have been, like, lived most of their lives with weed being more or less legal. Because especially,
that's
like,
a good question. That's a good question.
coming up the way we did, where it was like it's full blown illegal. That gave it like an extra sort of like.
Oh my god! In the old
We had
days,
to hide. We couldn't. I mean, back in it was like, it's still pretty illegal. Like when I go back home, they still duck into alleys and stuff to smoke, just to take like a hit of a bowl or a joint or whatever. Like it's not. They will not do it on the street because it's still like hella illegal.
I remember when I worked at the call center, we were at the fucking train going home, like just the RTD light rail, and this dude in my call center was just smoking weed in front, like 5 p.m. in front of everybody, and I was like, "This is crazy."
Yeah.
Like this dude was like, everybody's out here, but yeah, man, it's just it's always been one of those things. It's like the first thing I thought of when we saw this. I'm like, yeah, just lighten up wherever you want to.
I love it.
An amazing pick. And your second.
And my second pick is like, this one I think is kind of specific to like going to a bar or a restaurant or something with some friends, like being chill, and then getting it like comped because they know you.
Oh yeah.
Like where it's like it happens to me more at bars a lot around town, or like them just being like, "Oh no, it's thank you for what you do" or whatever, and you're like.
Uh-oh.
Thank
you ever have to tell yourself, like, be cool, just in your head?
Every
like,
time,
don't make a big deal.
Because in your head, you're like, yeah, baby, that's right, that's right. Somebody call community college. Tell them I'm glad I didn't go.
Yeah, dude. That's great.
But and I know it happens to you in Portland, Ian, sometimes.
Yeah.
And I know
Oh,
it happens
yeah.
to Sean. Dan, I hope it happens to you everywhere you go.
I live in hope for that too. It's not. I mean, it hasn't happened yet. But one of these days,
It's like, especially when you got people with you who didn't know that you were rolling like that.
yeah.
Oof,
It
that
is.
shit is like, it's like
It's
you
cool.
feel 10 feet tall.
You fucked up with this whole New York thing, Dan. It's harder to do it.
Yeah,
Too big.
it's like,
Too much going on.
Fuck up one in New York. Fuck up two, not being a public performer or any sort of public-facing figure.
Yeah, yeah, those are the
two big fuck ups I made early in this game.
I don't know who gets free stuff in New York, but it's
no, it's you got to be at
Yeah.
the tip top.
Joakim Noah. That's probably it.
Jokey. Yeah. Oh yeah.
I would give him shit.
I have the cousin of this too in Portland, which is like the kitchen sending out an extra dish.
Yeah, that's pretty
Oh
good.
man, yeah, that is really cool.
That would
is
be
really
tight when they're like, hey, the chef, they wanted to come out and, they wanted you to have this. I was with Anthony Jeselnik one time. We were out at lunch in Portland, and I was just opening for him, and he was super cool, took us out, and this is the first time I saw it happen. We're sitting there, and they just bring up dessert for all of us, and they go, the chef really wanted you to have this. He looks over, and the chef's just in the doorway, like, kind of peeking around, like, is he going to see me? And then I was like, this is insane. Like, the chef knows you? And, yeah. It's crazy.
Absolute sweetheart, that Anthony Jeselnik.
He really is, man. For
Yeah.
people who think he's at all the way that his act is perfect or hilarious, by the way. But he was nice.
Yeah.
So
Such a nice guy.
Remembered my name, which is that's when someone remembers your name, it's crazy because
I don't even remember your name.
Nah.
yeah,
Shane?
yeah, it's Six. No, it's Six with a C.
Oh, 6. That's right.
CIX.
Yeah.
So my point was to get it. 7, 4, 4, tray, back to back. I sent 2 fools back to the Lizak. On tape real big.
I gotta confess, and I love it when you quote the dog pound to me.
I gotta confess, I'm never gonna give a shit.
It's not.
I also gotta confess, I'm gonna keep doing it.
It's not my. It's not my favorite.
Confession. We're gonna have a sleepover next Thursday. You think I'm not gonna quote the dog pound a little bit?
David's sending you a cease and desist, but with a 6.
Yeah, I think you're gonna be in bed by 11:30.
No. Also, let's go to a polo store. I want to make a move when I'm there.
Oh,
No,
boy.
that's off fair
Polo
talk.
store? What are you saying? You want to go to the outlets?
Gonna have the outlets, yes.
Let's
Somewhere
go to
where
the-
they got,
Let's
somewhere
go
where
to
they got
the
polo.
outlets. I want to make a move.
Ralph Lauren, or like, are you gonna wear riding pants?
Riding pants, dude, with the big things that make my hips big.
Well, they have Yardbirds?
Oh,
I have one of those tiny little foot-long sticks with a little tassel on the end of it.
The riding crop.
Crazy
Yeah, dude.
shit. Yeah, I knew what it was called. I mean, you say it, power move.
Getting comped is very, very sweet.
Yeah, it's just it's like the coolest feeling, and it's like it lets everybody know, hey, whatever we're doing the rest of the night, you're not with no suckers in my circle.
The ceiling has raised.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. Like that's what I brought to the table. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Right. Time to level up, right.
Yeah. Oh,
You
we're
better get some appetizer going without me knowing about it in the first place.
Oh, we're
you
going
know?
to do a concert where you don't know anybody after this? Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
No, I'm sure it'll be a fun show.
I think you're right. Sean Jordan, come for your second pick.
Second pick is whenever I'm not thrilled that I do this, but I do it. This is something I do pretty much all the time. Is whenever I get on a plane, I'll put my knees just so they're touching the back seat, so there's no possible way the person could put their seat back, even if they want to. I do it every single time without fail, because I swear to God, the only time I see people put their seat back, they just hit the button and throw it back like they.
Yeah.
Nobody ever just eases it back. So I just put my knees there because I'm like, I don't want your seat back. It's only 2 inches. I'm not gonna let you have it.
Do you put your seat back ever?
No, God, no. I would never do that to someone. I'm not. It's okay to do it. I'm not saying you can't put your seat back. I'm just saying, for me personally, if you put your seat back, it really gets into like my kitchen of the space
'Cause
that
you're
I
tall.
like on a plane. Yeah, and in the same way, I don't put my seat back because I know my in front of me space matters more than my back. That 2 inches isn't going to make my back feel amazing on the flight to Cincinnati, regardless. So. You know that, and it's not fair. I'm not great for doing it, but I just put my knees in, and I've had people try to put their seat back and just kind of go, and I'm like, nope, I'll sit here the whole flight, and I'll have scabs on my knees by the time we're done.
Is that what's happening back in coach?
Because then I've blown easy.
Yo, that might be the one of the episode.
Power move.
Power move, dude. Power move.
I could see you waiting. And I just kept going. I had a motor mouth for a second. I was like, you're gonna say something.
No, I've done that exact same thing where I've even like pushed back sometimes because I'm like, I'm not proud of it, but I also don't recline my seat because of it. But I'm like, man, at least look back and see who you're doing it to. You know what I mean? Like sometimes if it's like a giant dude,
This
like,
is the only one I'm not proud of.
Yeah.
This one is the only one that I'm like, I will say I do this, and I don't think, I'm not saying it's like cool. It's not a cool move, but I do. And then I've definitely, where people have tried, and I'm like, that's where I'll take the ride all day is on a plane, because I'm like, what's gonna happen?
You don't have a gun.
Right. Yeah, you can barely move. I can barely move. It's,
Yeah.
I guess we need to handle it at DIA when we're getting off the plane, then we handle it at DIA when we're getting off the plane, but probably not.
I'll put my book back in that little pocket, but hard. You know what I mean? Where I like push their seat all the way back up. I'm like, you think it's gonna be more comfortable? It's not gonna be more comfortable for you.
And Sean, kind of a piece with your first pick, where it's like this is like you're thinking about it, like we live in a society. There's rules. There's ways that we should.
A lot of these are almost that.
Yeah, and we should be if we're gonna take care of each other and try to get through the day. Let's like not be dickheads to one another. And so yeah, you're like pushing back against those moves, much like knees into a seat.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm like, again, not always in a car, but I am always like whatever. But I'm like overly. I try to be like overly respectful of people's space and shit, and I don't expect people to operate like that. But in certain situations, I do, and that's one of them where I'm like, just don't put your seat back. I know you have the options there, but just don't.
Right.
I don't know.
You don't like people backing into stuff.
there it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be a through line.
Time for my second pick.
Weird spot you're in.
I'm in a weird spot.
Yeah, how's it feel? You're kind of like tucked in between some reclined seats.
I hate it.
Is that what's happening back in coach? That's good.
Thank you.
I like that you gave him the Humpty Dumpty voice.
How do I say? What's your?
What's happening back in coach?
What's happening back in coach?
Like Slick Rick.
Pronounce with an pronounce with an umpty.
Dolly, we like Tapoli.
You can do an Ian impression. It's not hard to do a me impression.
It's not easy.
It is for me. I can't.
I think I might not be an impressions guy, actually.
I'm not an impressions guy either, but I feel like you just, you know what I mean? Like if you want to,
I feel like
I don't really know how to do it that well.
that's a little too high.
Yeah, that felt very Peter Griffin. Or no, I don't know what that was.
Bring it down just like 1.5 octave.
Oh, I'm bad at octaves, man. Laura will let you know.
That's true.
Well, I don't really know how to do it all that well.
Well, too low. Let's find that tender middle.
I don't really know how to do it all that well.
There we go. We're getting there.
No,
a
we're
little more
not.
whimsy.
Appreciate, but we're not
a little
getting
more
there.
belief in the unknown in your voice.
Well, I don't really think we're doing all that well.
No.
Ian, I
Stop.
like that when you're like, what's the innate quality of my voice? Belief in the unknown. Let's turn that knob a little bit up. Tweak
Just
that
turn
a little
up a little
bit.
bit. Just a little more whimsy. Put a little more music in your voice. You know what I mean? Just a little bit more like I'll make art with whatever you put in front of me. Let's just have that.
Also, if we can get into the pitching kitchen for a second, maybe when you get stuck in the 2-3 spot, that's instead of the hot corner, the tender middle. Maybe that's where you need to think about
the tender middle. But when I'm in there, I'm so used to the hot corner that I feel like the frozen center of a hot pocket a little bit. I'm like, why didn't this microwave all the way through?
Because you didn't put it in long enough, dude. Pretty simple. Go, pick.
Fucking power moves.
Eating while you're talking to someone.
Oh, God.
Man.
And they're not eating. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
That shit drives me up the fucking
You know,
wall,
we can't
man.
pick it now. It's off the table, but that was one of my later picks was going to be like when somebody's eating and I would stop and be like, did you want to finish that? It's right hand in hand with that.
so you're telling me there's a counter power move.
It's hand in hand, but I used to do it at the call center all the time. People be eating and I'd
Oh,
stop
you have
and be
to
like,
acknowledge it.
did you need to finish that before we're done with our conversation?
I'm not even really talking about being on the phone. so
Yeah.
much. I'm talking about like an in-person situation. I will accidentally do it. I'm not doing it as a power move, but people will come into my office.
And
for
you're like
a,
eating.
Oh, that's a power move right there. You
they'll
just
come
said
in
it.
I eat an apple while I'm like talking, and this is when I eat this apple, and you happen to be here. I'm sorry. Like I'm a busy person, and this is when I eat this apple, which I guess is kind of a power move, but I don't mean it like that. But
You
it
like-
definitely can be.
I could eat an apple for hours.
I'll go to an apple for an hour.
Do you have an apple around? I'd like
there's
to
one
come into your
over-
office real quick.
Well, it's 11:30, and I don't eat till noon, so
All right.
that's
I
all right.
get it.
Issue. That's all right.
It'd be the worst if somebody was like had a grievance and you were just because eating an apple makes it seem like you don't care at all about.
I've done it. People have come into my office with a grievance, and I've eaten an apple during the conversation. I'm not going to stop eating this apple. It is a percussive fruit,
I love
and
it.
it's a fucking.
There's
power
something
move.
about the way you hold it that's disrespectful. Like low key, your middle finger's out. You know?
Yeah.
It can be the most prominent
Yeah,
part.
No, I don't know why you have a problem with that.
Yeah.
You're about the only person I know that has a problem with that. So
A sub power move of this is the guy who has a knife with the apple and is cutting off little pieces for himself.
That
you know?
is like that's. Oh, you only are doing that for intimidation.
only.
It's
I don't
not
know
a
who
better way to eat the apple.
It's not. I don't know who that guy is, unless he has like jaw issues or something like that, or does he have bridge work? He can't do a whole apple
yeah, you don't
bite?
want to bite in, so you have to cut it with your
I
big
feel
knife.
like late 80s, early 90s television was big on like dudes eating apples with knives.
Big knife
Yeah.
apple time. Yeah,
Big
yeah.
knife apple time.
And then we got to Clinton, and it kind of started to dissipate a little bit. That was
Yeah,
Reagan's America.
Yeah, apple knife.
Apple
Big
knife.
knife apple
When I'm
time.
cutting up an apple for Max, I have probably in the last month. I took a piece off, and I was like, "This feels crazy."
It's eating it
Because
off
you
the
put
edge
a
of the
knife.
knife.
Eating anything off of a blade is like a wild move. Like in that manner, like I'm eating off the part I just cut with. That's crazy.
Fucking
Yeah.
Crocodile Dundee. Man, who the hell are you?
That's
Like just
odd.
scooping your hummus up with a 9mm or something and spreading it on a big.
Okay, let's not say pigs.
yeah. I got.
Just
So now, sorry, Dan, you can't take eating off a gun. I'm sorry.
Fuck, all right. Cross that one
going
off
in
the
and
list.
like pointing at the menu with your gun. I don't know.
It's like, it's the McDonald's menu. It's been the same for 10 years. Put the gun away. You know what's up there.
Yeah, but I'm always torn between what I want to get.
You guys do an 8-piece now. I see.
You just got your laser sight on, just like you see what's going.
Can you make it a 9?
Like Sarah Connor's forehead up there.
But yeah, eating while you're talking to someone and they're not eating.
Yeah,
That's
that's
just
perfect.
You just
Great
get right
pick.
in their kitchen. Dan,
Yeah.
time for your second and third picks. Ask his.
All right, so second, just saying no. I am really bad at this generally, where you're like, hey, can you do this? We need to have this, we need to pre-write on this thing that's going to happen tonight. Can you get something ahead? Sometimes you're just like, the need to say, fuck it, no, sorry. Like, I don't have the time to do X, Y, or Z right now. It's hard to get used to doing,
Yeah.
but asserting your boundary in a certain way is something that, it's hard but valuable for a reason, and just being like, fucking, sometimes no. It's like, and then also with some bass, with some bass in your voice,
Yeah.
where you're like, oh man, I feel like 2 inches taller right now because I was able to
Yeah.
just be like, no, like my time has value, my energy has value, these sorts of things. Being able to say, like, I'm carving that out or I'm holding on to that, and 9 times out of 10, unless it's like, no, we desperately need this right now. 9 times out of 10, it's like, all right, yeah, no, that's totally fine. Like, we either somebody else can do it, or that can happen a little bit later. But I feel like, especially online media as a job for a long time, availability was such a huge part of like the value proposition for me. Yeah, I can write that totally. I'll take care of that, no problem. And now it's like, yeah, I have 2 kids, I've got a wife, I've got like other stuff I've got to do. Sometimes the answer just needs to be no. And being comfortable saying that is something I'm still not great at it, but like it is an important change in your life.
It's respecting your value.
Saying no
Yeah.
is way better than saying yes.
Yeah.
I'm horrible at it. I know what you mean. I know
You're way better.
I'm horrible at it because it's a power move to me just to simply say no to someone. And I'm like, well, that
Right.
Yeah.
means you're bad at it. But yeah, I feel you, man. I say yes to everything. It's still almost, and then because when I'm about to say no, I'm like, well, why are they the one where you're going to start your journey? You know, why do you need to prove it to this person? Just say no next time or whatever.
Yeah. It's good to do though. I also find myself agreeing to stuff that's like in the like that's far out, where I'm like, I know I'm not going to want to do this when it happens, but it's a month away.
That's the one I have to work on. When somebody comes to me, I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll probably do that. Yeah. And then when it comes and you're like, oh, I got to fly to where?
Yeah, and then it's here now, and for what?
Shit.
And you made plans that night because you forgot you had to do it, and you're like, oh.
Yeah, all my friends are going to do
I don't know anything about Lowe's. Why would I do a show at Lowe's for their Christmas party? I don't want to do that.
All right, well, there's reasons to do a show at Lowe's, dude.
I did one at Home Depot one time, and it was like...
You did a show at Home Depot?
For their Christmas party, I never told you about it. It was a Christmas party. They built the stage out of buckets and a piece of plywood. Those orange buckets, piece of plywood, and then they passed out their Christmas bonus checks while I was up. And everyone was just looking at me, like, kind of tapping their feet. And I'm like, you can open your checks. Yeah. You sure don't have to wait for me to finish. So they just cracked their bonus checks, and then they were not listening anymore, and I was like,
what was your check for that particular
$500 for
that's
an
pretty
hour.
good. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty cheap.
Yeah. It's all right. Did you get a bucket?
It is. It was through that. Yeah, back in the day. But I mean, $500 at the time was like.
No, $500 is the first level of stand-up check where you're like, oh, sick. I'm doing $500 gigs on the reg. Like that's
it's on the Wednesday side of 1,000 too. You're like, shit, this is almost $1,000, but it's not.
Oh yeah,
Wednesday side of 1,000.
That's incredible.
Turn of phrase.
You're sitting here in the break talking about how you couldn't be a writer. My friend, you just wrote something better than I've ever written down on a piece of paper. That's fantastic.
But I never thought about it, but it is closer to 1,000 than it is to 0 if you're rounding the way that we round. So that's fun.
I can pick you up on that, Dan Devine. You are a fantastic writer, and you consistently turned out turns of phrase at least that good.
You make me wish I read.
Not to take anything away from you.
You make me wish I read is the nicest compliment I've ever gotten. It's not actually a compliment. That's really
great. Wish I didn't hate reading, but you do. So
I appreciate that. That's very good. All right. So the second pick, saying no. The third pick is a little more specific to being a parent. Starting to count down from 5.
Oh, damn. That is
done that yet.
I've never even thought about that. Is a real power move.
Laura does it to me, but we haven't done it to our kid.
What if you put power to an adult? That would be even more powerful.
When you said Laura does, is it like if you're like, she's like, Sean, put down that rocks glass of hot sauce. 5.
I found a 24-hour billiards channel on cable the other day. She just comes and she goes 5, 4. All right, fine.
Wait, also, wait. We gotta break that down. You found a 24-hour billiards channel, and what? You just weren't gonna go to bed?
I've been watching pool a lot now. I used to have my own queue and shit, dude. I was into pool.
I know.
I feel like that's a Brigadoon situation where that only revealed itself to you, and like only once every 30 years does that show up.
They haven't been showing this particular Jeanette Lee Black Widow round for
Black
30
Widow,
years.
look at you.
I'm a professional sports writer after a fashion, so I gotta know a couple of pool players.
I used to want to try to act like Earl Strickland back in the day, the hothead pool player, the one bad boy pool player. Steve Ezra. I digress.
You had your own queue, right, Sean?
I sure did. No bag, like Forrest Whitaker in Color Money, baby. Out here.
That's incredible. That's fantastic. But yeah, so the idea that, and the useful thing with small children about the countdown from 5 is it doesn't kind of even have to be about anything. And sometimes you don't even know what the fuck you're going to do if you get to 0. But just the starting of 5, 4, they start moving. And whatever, all right, fine. I gotta close the iPad. I gotta put down the toy. Because we gotta start getting ready. So earlier today, all right, it's time to get ready for swim class, kids. They're like, no, fuck you. Like, no, I don't want to stop doing the playing that I'm doing.
No, Dad, fuck you.
Fuck you. That's 5, 4, and they're like, oh, they just fucking break like ozone on the way out. But yeah, there's a real power in just out of nowhere being like 5, 4, and then it starts to happen around you. Movement progresses around there, and I maybe abuse it a little bit because of how clear and it's a decisive movement from that point on.
Do you get into halves? Do you ever have to get into like 1.5?
That's
You
like,
always-
because that's
you see
almost
that.
giving ground, I feel like, right?
Yeah, like no. I mean, what you wind up having to do is, it's like, well, I guess I'm gonna get into a fight now. All right, we're 1-0. All right, that shit's mine now. Like whatever
Yeah.
the thing is you have, it's coming to me. And like, realistically, that's not always a great move because now you set yourself up for a longer period of arguing and fighting.
An hour of that
Yeah.
kid crying.
Just
I'll take the remote from Max, and I'm like, I could just let her have it for the next 30 seconds, or I take it, she flips out, and now she's crying for an hour.
But sometimes you gotta just sit, you gotta ride that hour out because they need to fucking know there's a line. And
Yeah.
so like it's, so anyway, all that to say, I was surprised I was surprised myself by how into that I got that power trip, but it's intoxicating. So Sean, I look forward to when you get to that point.
Yeah,
I'd take my shirt off at 0. That'd be the first warning sign. Maybe a 3.
5, pop it off.
You're going to be amazed how much you already have your shirt off when you have a kid.
Yeah.
When Max was born, all the time.
Hey, buddy.
I was just walking around with no shirt.
I'm more of a shirt guy.
Well, I'm not a shirt off guy. That's my thing. I'm saying, like, when she was born, I was just like, just have to
I
get
don't know,
up.
I've seen a lot of pictures of you when you were younger with
Yeah.
various shades of shirt off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Feels like less.
I feel like you're kind of a shirt off guy.
Man, Dan, I sent these two a picture of me the other day where I look like a hoodlum.
What? No.
It's crazy. I'll
That
send it
doesn't
to
make
you.
any
There was
sense.
some love.
Anyway.
I haven't listened to the podcast enough to hear about your what was it? It was that risk youth, David.
Yeah.
He's an
I
at-risk
was listening to
teen.
the show.
I don't think I was a youth anymore. I was old enough to go to war by the time this picture was taken, and I still...
Wayward. And it looked like you
I was
were
gonna
on
say
your
that's why
way.
the shirt was on. It was about to happen. Edward
Yeah.
Scissorhands wouldn't know what hit him.
Anyway, you'll have your shirt off alone.
Anyway. If you think about it, if you rolled around in your head a little bit, if you just pause and give it a moment's thought, All Fantasy Everything, this podcast, the one you're listening to right now, north of 300 episodes, this podcast right here, the only one that's ever existed, kind of a countdown from 5.
Damn.
I like that.
Damn.
I like the way that feels in my head.
Yeah.
Poignant.
We're gonna
Poignant.
be right back. Not an actual break. We're back already. How about that?
Damn, somebody got ready to do something real quick. Nope.
Power move. That's a power move. That was a power move on the listeners and a little bit on Marissa. Marissa, how does it feel?
Oh, she's going
She's
faster.
gone.
She's not even here.
I was gone. I'm here now. I'm gone there now. But yeah, quite the power move. I love it.
Oh, even
You
the way
should-
she said quite the power move was a power move.
You should have came back.
Man.
Next time you come on, Marissa, you got to be eating an apple.
Marissa's
Was a
one of
knife.
those powerful people in
No
the world.
question.
She's full of power moves. Yeah.
You seen that Beat Saber? You know what time it is.
Oh man, that was great.
Time for my third pick. Time for my third pick. Okay, this is a little bit tangential to the father-in-law relationship, but it's also, only a little bit. So I'll just say the pick. It's calling an adult by their first name.
Great.
Yeah,
Yes.
I don't do
All right.
it.
Yeah.
Wait, what do you mean?
So like even though we're 38 and 40 and what in our various ages, like it would be like, well, somebody who you're supposed to call Mr. Smith and then just calling him Mike.
Oh, you know what, Mike?
Yeah, I'll tell you
I
something.
will
here,
take
Mike.
the check.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Here's my thing with calling almost any adult by their name that I know. If I don't know them, it's different. I usually don't need to say your name. I could usually just get your attention. Like if I need to talk to any of you, we're in the room or whatever. You know, I don't have to be like, Ian. You know, I just be like, can I grab a LaCroix? You know, I wouldn't say your name.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. It weirds me out sometimes. She'll be like, "Hey, Sean, can you go?" And I'm like, "It's don't do that. Don't do that to me. Just be like, hey, go get the laundry. Don't be like, hey, Sean, would you go get the laundry?" It sounds crazy to me to hear.
Yeah,
Huh.
it's using someone's first name. It just always feels powerful to me when they're an
Yeah.
adult.
And well, I mean, because it's usually going to be followed up by like pointing something out. You know?
Yeah, yeah.
It's all where I'm like, Laura, it doesn't have to be that loud, or something like that. You know what I mean? It's never. Or
It's
it's something the other way where I'm like, you look gorgeous.
I mean, someone's first name it's a hammer. It can be used to drive in a nail and hang a beautiful picture, or it can be used to, batter someone to death. It all depends on how you use it, Sean.
Yeah. See? There you go. No, I don't. I always feel like I'm in trouble. Maybe that's the root of it.
Yeah.
When I hear my name, I feel like I'm in
feel that a
trouble.
lot. I feel that a lot.
I think it evokes those feelings. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sean Patrick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't care for it.
Dan, what's your middle name?
James.
James. Dan James.
You could have been a DJ.
dude. I could have been.
Yeah.
Number
Did you ever
3
try
thing.
it on?
Number 3 thing I fucked up, not being a DJ. Yeah.
You ever say your name like Spotty Dopalicious? Dan James.
I haven't, but now I'm glad someone has.
You should say that the next time that you and your wife have a date night, when you're like coming out of the bathroom after getting ready, you should come out singing that song, just to let her know it's on.
It's a good idea. We're gonna put that on the list. So, Dan James never happened. Daniel James happened when I was in trouble. So yeah, that's like
Okay, that's a good.
like Daniel and it's a brief short tangent. I'll get you back, but like when I was in kindergarten or whatever, or beginning of school, and your teacher's like, all right, so your name on the roll is Daniel Devine. What do they call you at home? Dan, Danny, Daniel. I was like, well, my mom calls me Daniel, and my dad calls me shitbird son of a bitch. And I was like 5, and so that led to a very quick, my dad being like, so I got to go to school now. That's not like the coolest move you could have pulled. Thank you so much.
Shitbird?
Yeah.
All I
Sounds like I
heard
was right.
all I heard was our teachers don't trust our children enough, is what I heard. Because she should have been like, well, let's get your father on the horn and ask him why he's calling you son of a bitch and shitbird all the time, instead of just assuming that you were lying.
Yeah, no.
That
She was like, they needed to check in on that. They needed to check in pretty quick, and I was like, that's a cool vibe you set up for the full year of me knowing this person. Dynamite.
There you go.
Oh, there it is. Power move. Get a cat involved.
Mm-hmm. That is a power move. Have a cat on your shoulder or something. Like you're Attila from Kickboxer? No, Lionheart.
She's gonna make a pick.
Go for
She's
it. Let
not
me hear
saying
it.
much. Another power move.
She plays it close to the bat. Dana just brought Eddie in, which is always a delight to me. That itself was a power move. Interrupting the podcast with a cat?
The cat.
Yeah, always.
Fucking left and right. What, Dan, did you grow up in New York City?
Yeah, Brooklyn and Staten Island. So like out of Borough, New York. Yeah.
What's it like? The New York kids are. I always am very intimidated by people who grew up in New York. They're always so confident.
Well, I'm glad I could
capable.
I'm glad I could break that streak for you.
It's an insane place.
Well, no, but I think
maybe it's more Manhattan kids where I'm like, what are you?
That's the thing.
Manhattan
Like,
kids seem like that doesn't even make sense.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, like the fact that we moved out of Brooklyn when I was eight or nine to Staten Island. So it was like you were moving to the place that everyone thinks is like a fucking joke and is not part of the city, right?
Right.
So I'm like, and I've now like lived back in Brooklyn for more than a decade, but I'm kind of like, I feel like I'm a bad New Yorker in that way. Like I've never been oh yeah, I lived in the East Village for whatever, or like I was in like the Williamsburg lofts before that blew up. Like I've always kind of been like an uncool parts of New York person.
Yeah.
So then you're like, like where was your wild misspent youth? I'm like, I don't know. It was in like fucking schoolyards in Staten Island playing CeeLo. I don't know. Like it was a weird, different kind of vibe.
That's not bad.
Well, a lot of New Yorkers grew up in like Tallahassee and Fort Worth, so that's the most uncool part of New York. At least you grew up there.
I don't know, man. You should come through Staten Island sometime. I don't know, but like,
I'm never going to Staten Island, so stop right there.
I don't blame you. I don't go back all that frequently.
Sean, it's time for your third pick, Sean.
I don't know what I did to you, man. Third pick. This is always fun. I don't really do it a lot. I've done it, but it's just fun. Proving someone wrong with a screenshot. So when someone says they didn't, and I'll save them sometimes because like certain friends come out of pocket quite a bit. I'm like, I'm gonna go ahead and just keep this. just whatever. And then it'll come up later, like a bar or whatever, and I'm like, no, you said it. And they don't believe me. And that, rarely that
This
little
feels
nugget will
very
come out where
specific.
they'll be like, prove it. And you're like, sure. And then you could just show them. I've done it a few times, and it's very fun because there's just nothing you can do. It's fun. It doesn't hurt anyone.
Yeah.
It's always cheeky, and it's like, it's all good.
David, time for your third and your fourth picks.
My third pick, I'm taking. This has only ever happened to me one time, but it was cool as fuck. I was hanging out with this guy all night, and then we were going into like a club bar type of thing. And right before we got to the front of the line, he untucked his chain, and he had a giant Cuban on, and it was like, whoa, the coolest shit ever. Untucking the chain, like it was like, whoa, I was
incredible.
with this guy all night. I didn't even know.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's like,
And it was like a chain that could get untucked. Like a lot
Yeah.
of people have a chain and they can take that
Yeah.
out, but like this was it's on now.
Bam. Yeah.
Boom.
right.
That
Like
is-
you felt it. You felt the impact of the
I've
chain
been to
coming out.
Cuba. Yeah.
Man, it takes a lot. It takes a certain kind of person to rock a Cuban chain like that too.
No, to have a Cuban link, I've thought about it, but I'm not there
Yeah.
yet.
There's
I'm not
other
there
things
yet.
you have to do with your life.
I could probably get a
God.
driver's license or
Or
something.
it's somebody who looks like they shouldn't have one at all, and they do, and then it's like, that's also kind of icy because you don't know what
Like
they're thinking.
I didn't even know this was a chain guy. This is the fourth location.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's something
Yeah.
that should be disclosed like up top.
Yeah,
like, I
it should
should
be
know
like,
I'm dealing with a Cuban
I need to
chain
know
guy.
if you have a Cuban link, and I need to know if you have a gun before we hang out.
Those are two, and that's it.
Everything else you can find out on the day. That's fine.
Everything else, but like when we meet up, you gotta be like, hey, just so you know, I got a piece and I got a piece.
Maybe an outstanding warrant. I'd like to
Yeah.
know about outstanding warrants, but like I think even that is not as crucial as like a big chain. Yeah, if Shocker just pulled out a Cuban link on you,
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd be like, what the fuck? Especially if this is the third place we've been.
yeah. Although, yeah, the third place in a night, that's crazy.
It was insane.
So
it
he's
was
got a calculus in his head, like not a chain place, not a chain place, chain place.
whole other gear. He
Yeah.
has a whole other gear we didn't know about. But yeah, so that's my third pick, and then my fourth pick.
Well, right before you get to your fourth pick, we're actually going to take. We're getting for real.
Is this a real break? Or are you fucking
Real
with
break,
this?
Megan. And there's not a power move. We'll be right back.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Listen, we all deal with mental health in our own way. We're all growing, we're all changing all the time. One thing that pops into my head is after my daughter was born, I had postpartum depression. I didn't even know that could happen. It's something that happened to me. And with therapy, it's all about deepening your self-awareness, understanding yourself. It's the whole point of therapy. BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist who can do just that. They can take you down that road of self-discovery from wherever you are. It's helpful learning positive coping skills, how to set boundaries. It's so clutch. I can't say no to anything ever. So setting boundaries is something that I need to focus on. It's just one of the many, many things that I need to focus on. But if you're thinking about starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. Honestly, it's done entirely online, designed to be convenient. It's extremely flexible. It's suited to your schedule. All you got to do, you just fill out a brief questionnaire. You get matched with a licensed therapist. You can switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. Discover your potential with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/allfantasy today to get 10% off your first month. Again, that's betterhelp.com/allfantasy. This episode of All Fantasy Everything is brought to you by ExpressVPN. Now, I'm going to hit you with a question. When you go to the bathroom, you always close the door behind you, right? Exactly. You don't want some random passerby looking in on you, seeing what you're doing in there. Hopefully it's going to the bathroom. Why would you let other people look in on you when you're going online? You know, your online privacy is extremely important. That's why I use ExpressVPN, and you should too. Your internet service provider, they know every single website you visit. And if you're like me, you're not really that great with computers, you know? So I didn't really know a lot of this stuff until recently. They can sell the information to ad companies and tech giants, which you hear about. I don't know, I just kind of brush it off, but it's true. Then they can use your data to target you, and that's just freaky. ExpressVPN creates a source encrypted tunnel between your device and the internet, so your online activity can't be seen by anyone. Which it's very simple. It just makes it so you have your privacy. Everybody wants their privacy. Works on phones, laptops, routers. So everyone who shares your Wi-Fi is going to be protected. And all you got to do, you just fire up ExpressVPN app, click one button. It's as easy as closing a door. Probably easier. You just hit a button instead of close a door. Get an extra 3 months of ExpressVPN free by going to expressvpn.com/AFE. Again, that's expressvpn.com/AFE for 3 extra months free. expressvpn.com/AFE.
And we're back. Welcome back to All Fantasy Everything Already in Progress. David Borey on the hot corner, about to make his 4th pick.
My 4th pick is the opposite of your pick. I'm taking giving somebody a nickname.
Oh yeah, I had that too.
Where you're just like, wait, I'm fresh now, or whatever it is. Like, it's always very, it's like always a very way for somebody to like command the room. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It sure is slick.
Because it.
I did it the other day. There was a guy when we went to John Wick. There's this like 6'8" dude, and I was like, "What's up, Stretch?" It was fun.
Someone?
Whoa! I bet he gets that daily.
The guy right behind me walks up. This cowboy had a cowboy hat on. He walks up. He goes, "How tall are you?" The guy said 6'8". That's how I knew he was 6'8" because I heard him say it.
Yeah, that is
rude to ask, but it's not rude to be like, "What's up, Stretch?" He knows.
But the guy who asked had a cowboy hat on?
Had a cowboy hat on.
That's okay. That's the guy who asks.
Yeah. He's the one who gets it out of the way.
Cowboy hat
We
says,
were all thinking it. I got this cowboy hat on.
Of course, you could give him a nickname. You could call him like Cattle Drive.
Or Tags.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's got to be I'm 6'8", Tex. It's got to go right back at it.
Yeah, you gotta go
Yeah, you gotta double down.
Yeah.
Stretch is like, being tall is one of those few things that everybody gets to dunk. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not that, but I assume like if you're 6'8", I bet he's like everybody gives him a nickname, so it's like probably irritating.
You know what he said after that? So I go, "What's up, Stretch?" And he goes, "Nothing, man, chilling." Well, I don't know what he said, but then he told me he goes, he didn't say nothing, man, chilling. That's what I said.
What he said, I wasn't paying attention to his tall ass.
But he tore my ticket, and he goes, "Mr. Wick, we'll see you in theater number 11. That
was pretty cool.
And I look back and I go, "Oh, that was so."
That guy's got a pint glass full of sauce, dude. That guy's all right.
Yeah, I was
not in the way that you want, though.
Right? No, he had a pint glass full of fucking chill sauce. I want the hot sauce. But anyway, I was so stoked to go see John Wick after that. Like, Mr. Wick will see me, won't he?
That's incredible.
Oh, yeah.
I bet you were, Wheelman.
Yeah, top 1%, baby.
Top 1%. Wheelman, it is time for your 4th pick.
So this is kind of specific, but like when you go to the doctor or something, and you come home and they're like, "Oh, so what did he say?" When your doctor was a woman, and then you go to they're like, "What did he say?" And you go, "Well, she actually said she actually said syphilis goes away on its own, so it's not a big deal." You know what I mean, though? What someone just assumes someone, it's always a guy, or like a teacher. I guess if it's like a teacher or a nurse, and they're like, "What did she say?" And you go, "Well, he actually told me, a couple ibuprofen, I'll be fine."
The way this was framed sounds like you're doing this to Laura. Or Max. I don't know who else is at your house.
It's not just doctor, and I didn't get syphilis recently, or ever. But just anytime somebody genders something that doesn't have to be, like when somebody talks about the Almighty.
Doctor.
It's not just doctors, but like people just gender things, and you're like, oh, it's,
Let me
it's just
correct
fun.
these things in order of importance to me. It's not just doctors, and I don't have syphilis.
Right. Yes. Not that there's anything wrong with that. If you got caught slipping at some point, everybody gets caught slipping. I've been caught slipping a bunch. It's not, I didn't slip on syphilis. I slipped on other stuff. I digress.
Syphilis.
Syphilis.
Great vibes.
Yeah, just kind of doing that whole like, well, actually he said, whatever. It's fun
Correcting a pronoun, yeah. It's important now, maybe more than ever now these days in the climate.
They said.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When somebody, they say an apple a day keeps the doctor, and I go, she actually didn't decree that.
Wow. You're talking about God.
Yeah, she invented
You constantly
apples.
do this with God.
That's true.
Well, somebody has to, man.
Yeah.
I'm doing.
You're doing the Lord's work.
Her work.
It's important.
Saying a prayer to the woman upstairs. You know what I mean?
Time for my 4th pick, and boy, are we all excited for it.
Yeah, I really am.
It is being familiar with someone's work and not commenting on the quality of it either way.
Oh, God.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I saw you do stand-up like that Hedberg guy. I saw you do stand-up.
just not commenting on it either way. Oh, I'm a writer. Oh yeah, I've read your stuff.
Oh, yes. You know you're just leaving them. You know they're dying inside to be like, say something good, say something good.
Yeah. And you know what? And you're not necessarily saying anything bad. You're just not saying anything good either. It's just digging right into people's deepest hole of insecurity. Especially if they get into a presentational business in the first place. That hole is probably fairly
One
deep.
more.
Where anytime, honest, I swear, anytime someone's like, oh yeah, I've seen you do stand-up, I go, like if they don't say they enjoyed it, I go, wow, I hope you had a good time. Sorry if you didn't. Like I immediately start going into my own shit. They're like, no, it was fine.
Yeah. The album came out last week. I heard it.
Yeah.
I just heard it like 1,000-yard stare from there. Clipped, and that's it.
Yeah.
I just back up like, okay, thanks for listening or whatever. You know, cool. I do other stuff, you know. I can kick flips. It's not a big deal.
Yeah. I'll tell you, as someone who works on the Late Late Show on CBS, I've been exposed to this one before. Oh yeah.
What do you do? I read on Laser.
Oh yes, yeah, no, I know that show.
Oh man.
Do you? Do you know?
It's weird. As somebody who currently works for Yahoo Sports. Oh, Yahoo. Yeah, that's a web company still. Yeah.
I use that to find some of my first porn.
I still have printed GIFs.
When I have to fix my grandmother's internet, that's the homepage. So yeah, I'm familiar with it.
Yahoo, right.
Like sometimes you have to email a comic who never changed it. That's always a fun one.
Yahoo, the Machu Picchu of the internet.
Containing such wonderful treasures as Dan Devine's writing. There you go.
Absolutely. I mean, Yahoo Sports is, anyone who knows sports knows that is the premier destination. And I'm not even joking. Dan Devine, familiar with your work. Love your work.
Well, that's
I'm not familiar.
Extra there. I appreciate that.
Not familiar with your fourth and final picks yet.
All right, fourth pick, unbroken eye contact.
I can't do it.
I'm not so good at it either, but like that sort of like penance stare of just double barrels, like it's important to me that you know that I'm serious right now, and so I'm gonna and I'm gonna enunciate every part of this while it's fucking eyeballing you, so you get it. It is intended to sort of shake somebody and their self-belief and their conception of self. I'm not so good at it, but I understand that when I've had it done to me, say hypothetically by like the dad who doesn't understand why you just told your teacher that he calls you shitbird and son of a bitch instead of your name, when you get that double barrel look and you're like, oh, something bad's happening here. This is not a good moment for me. The eye contact is a strong one.
It makes you feel like prey.
Yeah.
Yes.
I can't look at a painting for longer than 15 seconds.
Do you ever get it from the opposite sex where after a while you're like, I don't know what you want from me?
Yeah.
Like we're talking, you're looking right at me. I don't whatever it is, I don't think I have that.
Yeah. What game is this now?
Yeah, what's happening?
I don't have the right kind of personal billiard cue for this game. I don't know.
You are way too engaged in this terrible story I'm telling you.
Yeah.
You're letting me know that you're bad about it with your eyes, and I feel like it's a dangerous game we're playing.
I'll go to the grave not knowing how to operate eye contact. I'll never get it. I don't know how long to look at someone. I don't know.
I always feel like I'm doing it because I don't think about it personally because it doesn't. Whenever I tap in, I'm like, oh, should we? Because that's like once every few weeks. I'm like, I should start looking at people more. I feel like I do it too long. I feel like I prolong eye contact a little too much, and that's like.
Well, we don't know what the answer is.
Nobody knows.
I try not to lie. Whenever I start lying, I'm just staring right in someone's eyes. That's like my
that's
tell.
when you stare at someone's eyes. That's insane. That's so crazy.
And it's one of the it stops me from lying sometimes, like a tiny lie. But if I'm about to do it, I'm like, no, they know you're staring at them, so just don't lie. It's like it should be pretty obvious. That's what you're doing.
You're giving up the game.
Or like if I think I'm wrong, I'll stare. I'll stare at somebody. It's like a sign of weakness for me. Which
I feel like I've seen that.
It's doubling down and going all in. Like, okay, I need you to believe that I have the pocket aces here. Like, I'm staring right down the barrel at you to give you this direct, even though you see me sweating and I'm pitting out and everything else. Like, but the eye contact is letting you know it's for real.
Yeah.
And my fifth and final pick, it will kind of bookended here. Ordering food or drinks for another adult without their consent. Just damn it. Just being like, no. She'll have the veal parmesan. No.
The veal parmesan. You ordered that right in front of her dad, huh?
No, as an example.
I'm paying for this. She'll have the veal parmesan.
Fred's gonna have cider and ice for him. Cider and ice for him. We're not gonna get into the serious drinking until later, Dad. So don't worry about it. But also you call him Fred in that situation. There's the adult first name. Is a lot going on there.
Right. Yeah.
Multipliers. Yeah, there's levels to the game. But yeah, the idea that you would be like, we're not going to substitute your judgment for my judgment. My judgment is better, and so we're just going to do that right now.
It can even be a positive power move if you're at a certain restaurant and it's like, hey, you know what, I got it. And people are like, oh, okay.
I ask for the power whenever we go to nice restaurants. I'm like, you do it. I'll just whatever ends up on the table.
I also know what Sean thinks is yucky, so that it helps.
What a great sentence.
Yeah. Unless I actually start serving green ham, anything green is yucky to me. So just get it off.
Anything that's minus 4 to 6 ounces of hot sauce.
Yeah, dude.
That's right.
Give me that bad cholesterol.
All right, time for my final pick.
All right, man.
That's gonna put you such a fatty.
I just saying that to myself last night walking around the crib. I was reminded how funny I think it is. I was grabbing the air fryer when I said it.
Making yourself a drink at someone else's house.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yo, that is crazy.
Whether it's alcoholic or not, but it's like getting up, opening their fridge, going over to where their alcohol is, and pouring yourself one of those.
Literally the next thing on my list. No, the sixth man on the roster was going to somebody else's fridge, just going and taking your business there.
Yeah, like asking them, like, do you have any lemon zest?
Yeah.
Never mind, I'll make two.
This is my fridge now.
Yeah, it's crazy to me.
Yeah. It's an intimate space, and you're just in it.
It is. It's odd. Yeah. Even if you're already in someone's crib, it's still to go into their shit. Oh, it makes me feel crazy.
Oh yeah.
Even like when someone can tell me, like, yeah, just go grab it from the fridge. I'm like, will you do it?
It would feel intimate if I went into your fridge and you were one of my best friends on the planet.
No, it's intimate.
No matter, it is. They're like, yeah, cupboards, whatever. It's like a little glimpse.
I don't know if you're saving that food for what. You know what I mean? We don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, get out of here.
Yeah, get out of my fridge.
Well, I mean, The Rock taught us that in The Rundown, which is how to reach into another man's fridge without asking permission first. It was one of the important lines that The Rock gave us in that movie.
Right.
And so, like, if
he
you're
was
not going to
actually
respect
talking
him
about
now,
dating, though, is the thing.
That's right.
A movie full of important lines, so it's hard in itself.
It's hard to pick only one. Yeah.
Career full of important ones.
Mm-hmm.
It's also time for you to cross the line into your fifth pick, Sean Jordan. Give us the rundown on that.
If you're at the Roost and you walk up to someone's table and grab a chicken wing off their plate and you don't know them. Last pick.
You're taking my power move?
It's another power move.
Some of us live this life.
You're taking his move?
I'm really adapted to
I'm
it.
just saying, if you're there and you do that, it's a power move. That's all I'm saying. Last pick.
This is Little Boozy and fucking the smell of weed all over again.
All over again.
You be honest with me. Were you going to pick it?
This is classic Sean Jordan if you've been watching.
You weren't going to pick that.
No.
I didn't say anyone's name, by the way.
Oh, good.
Oh, yeah, you're not a snitch, right?
Oh, good. Oh,
no,
good.
the kid in the red jacket did it. I didn't say anything.
Fantastic.
Fucking hall monitor, fucking narc.
The kid in the red jacket did it.
Chugging wine at a benefit show the Sklar Brothers asked you to do. But we're not saying who's doing it.
I was trying to get another one open. Yeah. The drinks were $20. No thanks.
Oh, man.
That was such a crazy. We're just at this upper crust like country club. I'm like, I don't have $10.
We were having a different night.
I can't buy half of a drink. Was that the same night?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that was the same night we started out at that show.
It was all the same night. I barfed in the Roost bathroom, burst blood vessels. We interviewed Roxanne Gay the very next morning.
Yeah.
It went so well.
Crazy night to have before that. Hey, what are you doing tomorrow? All right, guys.
Let's be hooligans.
Hey, you know I can get some blow? I wish. Lord, hello, Roxanne Gay.
Generationally important writer, Roxanne Gay.
Incredible.
David Boyd, time for your final pick.
I taking. So this happens a lot. I feel like when comics are riffing or when people are riffing in general. I'm thinking when somebody was totally down to just shift the tone of a conversation.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we're all hanging out laughing, and somebody's like, "No, fuck you. I love Dame Judi Dench."
Yeah.
No, that's just not fucking funny. No, it's not fucking funny. Where you're like, whoa.
You can talk about Helen Mirren without fucking pretending we're talking shit about Dame Judi Dench, man.
Nah, dude. Nah.
It's always like, because it's like, whoa, you don't give a fuck what's going on at all.
Yeah.
Like, you really just, it's like, it's such a power move when it happens, where you're just like, all right, you're just willing to tank this whole shit.
Right. I'll sink this ship.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck about this.
Yeah.
That's always the situation where I feel like our paths have crossed. We're not on parallel lines. It's just our paths happen to have crossed right now, and we're both living very different lives.
Right.
It's an important way to learn about somebody's value system. It's like, what matters more to you? Just like the vibe of hanging out and having a good time, or like, no, I stand on this honor. Like I'm gonna die on this hill.
It's definitely usually pretty selfish.
Yeah.
I will say when people do, it's like, it is a power move, but it's also like, people rarely walk away and they're like, no, he was pretty right about that. Unless it's like something really big, but for the most part, it's like, no, that guy sucks.
I did that once, but it was because somebody was making, they were doing fat jokes, right? Or something like, Sean, you were there. It was Shane's friends?
Oh, no, they were doing
Sometimes it's warranted.
Yeah.
It was anti-Semitic stuff, and we were sitting at
anti-Semitic stuff.
Yeah, that's right.
We were sitting at Matador, and they were talking shit at the end of the table, and you looked at me, and we didn't know each other that well. A few months or whatever, and you're like, check this out. You smiled, and then you just looked over, and you got the serious that I know you can get. And then I was like, holy, are you good, man? You look back, you're like, oh yeah, it's fine. And then you got serious again. And then they left. They left, and then we had a great night. And
By the way,
time I'd seen that.
sometimes a tone shift is totally warranted.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta do
like
it.
shit like that when it's like, or something racist or something. Sometimes there's some shit where people are talking where you're like, I just can't let that go. But like, I'm talking about sometimes you'll meet people who just seem like they almost did it just to do it.
Here's one.
You know what I mean? And that's what I mean. It's usually pretty selfish. It's usually somebody who doesn't care about anybody else.
I think I've done it to you. It was, I used to say when people talked about Jay-Z, I'd be like, Jay-Z's not a good rapper. And I would just say that. I'm like, what an asshole. He is a good rapper. And I always knew it. But I used to, for some reason, not think he was. What a dumb thing. What a dumb thing to do.
Yes, but that feeling of like, I need to have a take and an angle to be particularly interesting or arch or whatever, and then I have to just fight on that lie for the rest of my fucking life. Like, it's also
mad apparent when people are doing it, where you're like, okay, man.
Yeah, it really is.
You don't think pastrami sandwiches are good? Let's hear your fucking
That's fine. You didn't have to make a big deal about it.
Cool, man.
Yeah, you're allowed to not like stuff without trying to make that your personality. Like,
also, everybody knows you like pastrami. Shut up.
I've been seeing you eat the pastrami sandwich.
I've seen you eat it.
Corned beef ass.
You motherfucker. But tone shift is definitely just like, it's like a power move, but it's also so annoying.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to shift the tone to Marissa's pick. Marissa?
Per my last email.
Oh! Excellent.
Love that one.
Top row.
Oh, shit. Did you see? I got all on edge. I was like, what happened? What did we do?
Oh, you got
I thought it was going to be like, per my last email, this is that. But you're just saying when somebody,
Yeah.
Damn, that just made me nervous. That's how much of a power.
Yeah, she got your ass.
He's the most powerful one of all of us.
Yeah, rival shit. Seriously, that made my heart beat up.
Dan, you went first. You took paying for your father-in-law's dinner, saying no, starting to count down to 5, unbroken eye contact, and ordering food for another adult. I went second. I took coming in hot to a handshake, eating while you're talking to someone, calling an adult by their first name, saying, I'm familiar with your work, but then not saying how you enjoyed it, and then making yourself a drink at someone else's house. Sean, you went third. You took backing into a parking spot, preventing someone from leaning their seat back with your knees on an airplane, proving someone wrong with a screenshot, correcting someone on their pronouns, and then eating a chicken wing off of someone else's plate at the Roost. David, very fun. David, you went last. You said lighting up some weed, getting comped at an establishment, untucking a chain, peeping to a night, giving someone a nickname, and shifting the tone in the conversation.
Wow,
Power moves all.
Stand by all.
Incredible.
We left some stuff on the board, of course. Quoting someone in a conversation could be a power move. I believe it was William Shakespeare who first said that.
You ever heard anybody quote themselves?
I have a bit about this, and in that bit, I've heard comedians do it. Sometimes as a disclaimer, though, so they're like, "I'm not running shtick," but that's
Right.
different. That's like almost a courtesy.
Turning off the lights in a room that somebody else is still in. Yeah, I love doing that.
Oh, man.
I'm out, so the room's done.
Yeah, eating food off someone's plate.
Shutting the door before, like, I'll do this as a social bit, but when Laura and I are walking in somewhere, I'll open the door and shut it right behind me before she can come. Before she can come in. It's always funny.
I also think there's correcting someone's fact when they're wrong, which is tangential to Sean's proving someone wrong with a screenshot. But if they're like, you know, it was this, Dana will do this to me. My wife will do this to me. I'll have a fact, and she'll be like, "Oh, did you mean?" And then I didn't mean that, but she is right.
Did you mean is kind of the nicest way you could do it?
Yeah, yeah. She's a lovely person.
Yeah, she gives you the benefit of the doubt. Like, oh no, I think you meant the right thing.
No, I didn't deserve that.
Rarely I will overtip for bad service. Rarely. I've done it though. It's stupid. It's
I've also
bad
done
for
that.
me.
I think it's like a broke guy thing where it's like, oh, word, yeah, well, here's $35.
Honestly, dude, where I'm like $15, here's 20.
Yeah.
Keep it.
Yeah. Oh, you don't have any garlic shrimp puffs left? Okay, here's $40. Glad you're a dick about it.
Shrimp puffs. Have them next time.
Yeah.
I had two really stupid ones on here that I'm not sure when I put them on. I might have been drinking. The mandible claw, Mankind's finishing move where he just shoves his fingers down your throat.
That's a power move.
Seemed like a power move.
Yeah, that's insane.
Of course it is.
He has a sock on his hand.
Yeah. And then drinking your milkshake. I was thinking about the end of There Will Be Blood.
Oh,
yeah. You know, he'd be like, I slant drill under you, and I drink your milkshake.
All the way.
Yeah, all the way from here.
Well, we want to hear what milkshakes you're drinking. Hit us up at All Fantasy Pod on Twitter, allfantasypodcast@gmail.com. Shout out to everyone on the AFE, brand spanking new and improved for April 2023 Patreon. Shout out to everyone on the AFE, the Slack, and shout out to everyone on the AFE subreddit. Shout out to super producer Marissa. Shout out to St. Sue Carmel. Shout out to Frankie Ocean. Shout out to Sid the Dude. Shout out to Haji Beats. And more important than all of that, tune in again next week to another brand new episode of All Fantasy Everything.
Shaklackety.
That was a HeadGum podcast.
Coming up in the rest of this list, but it seems like Mariah and Billy Ray have been very copacetic thus far. Mariah, when you are ready with the pick at number 3, send it on over. Ryan, we haven't checked in with you on Mark or Must, but I almost feel like that would be a futile exercise because you yourself have said you just have no clue what's coming down the pike.
Yeah, I'm not even going to dare do that. However, I will say that I'm very happy about this list so far. I feel like it is very reflective of it. These are all movies that have kind of moved the needle a bit in terms of the form, and if you're not a fan, it's a great film otherwise. So, looking forward to this top 3. I wonder if that changes.
Ooh. Ryan is looking forward to the top 3. And speaking of 3s, Mariah has sent me a pick at number 3 that if we wanted to get even funkier with our rules, could include all 3 entries sort of spiritually from this series.
It is what it is.
It is what it is, but having to pick one, Mariah did pick one, and indeed it is the first. At number 3, Mariah has selected director Penelope Spheris, The Decline of Western Civilization.
It was my
Part
next
one.
pick. It was my next pick.
What?
Yep. It would have been my number 2.
Why are we having the same number 2 and number 1? What is going on?
I don't know, but hey.
I love it. I said 1 or all 3 because I think The Metal Years is fantastic, and I think that part 3 is socioeconomically everything Penelope Spheris has tried to do through comedy, done not through comedy. But it fits really nicely with her entire, pretty much her entire oeuvre as a filmmaker. But I was going to do The Metal Years until Some Kind of Monster, and I was like, this is too much metal. So I'm going to go with part 1. We need a punk film. We can't have a top 7 and not have a punk film. I also want to shout out to The Punk Singer because I love that film as well. But if we're going to do a punk film, the punk film is Decline of Western Civilization. Partly because it's a punk film from its very inception. She was given money not to make a documentary about the punk scene, but to make an adult film, and ended up making a punk film instead, which is the punkest thing I can think of. Because she just took the money and said, yeah, I'll give you this, and then gave him something totally different. And it's such an amazing part in American culture, in LA culture specifically, in film culture, in music culture, in pretty much any and every form of that movies touch. This film sort of pushed them all to their comfort zone, out of their comfort zones, and into all kinds of different zones. I love this film.
Incredible film. Our first Marquee of Fame entrant. No, Summer of Soul was Summer Soul in the best of 2020 draft?
I think so, actually.
Was it? It might have been. Anyway, a Marquee of Fame entrant here, The Decline of Western Civilization, following its inclusion on the Penelope Spheris draft. This movie I watched... Oh, Decline of Western Civilization was probably on the Punksploitation draft as well.
Yes.
This is its third appearance.
It's its third. Well, it is deserving of a hat trick on the Marquee of Fame. Incredible. Just the access that Penelope Spheris gets to these people and the acceptance she has into this community is fascinating to watch in this movie. And it feels like a movie about punk rockers directed by a punk filmmaker.
Yeah.
It is these, you feel like she is observing these people not as an outsider or as a voyeur or something. It feels like a film made by someone who is one of them in a way. I think that's probably why they trust her with this. Like, the people are incredibly candid, and you really feel like even me, who is the least punk person, and the most punk I get is standing well outside of the mosh pit at like a Frank Turner concert and going and kind of like hoping nobody bumps into me. But like, it really makes you feel like you're a punk in LA in the 70s. This is one of the dirtiest. You can smell this movie.
Yeah.
In the best
and
way.
Also, because they trust her, it's not just like an entry into sort of the areas of punk that we understand, but it's also into the empathy and ethics of what punk really is. Because I think a lot of people, before this movie, you think punk and you think it's like just property destruction and stuff like that. And this film really shows sort of, the guy who's like, I hate Nazis, and like the way that people get rejected and then they create little homes together. And it sort of shows that, like, the softer side of punk, in that punk isn't just about this extreme quote-unquote violence. It's really about creating a community and finding people who reflect who you are on the